gods, give you back your homes, or restore your dead to life.
But perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our king.
Good evening, and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am Luke, and we are here talking about the latest and greatest House of the Dragon episode for what we're calling The Ragu Prince, Season 1, Episode 2, which was released, well, we're recording on 8/30 of 2022. This is Episode 1, or Season 1, Episode 2. Entitled The Rogue Prince. I am, as always, actually maybe the first time we've ever just had only Dirty of House Condescension in the live studio and no one else besides me. So, welcome.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, if we could just mute those guys and just...
Glorified guest.
Yeah. So, welcome. What are you drinking?
Tonight I am drinking Proper 12 and Coke.
I believe it was Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just... Call a spade a spade.
And maybe some Angry Orchard at some point.
All right. Joining us via satellite per usual, Sly, House McLean. How's it going?
Cheers. Howdy.
What are you drinking, sir?
Another Manhattan. This time it is, New Riff Distillery with their heavy rye. And my mug, as always, is sponsored by Copper Mule Distillery out of Herman, Missouri. Here we get the chance. Make sure you go check them out.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to call them out till I get a sponsorship from them.
We tried it with Black River Red.
Hey, we got real chatty.
I actually know the owners of, I know the owners of Copper Mule, though, so I have a shot.
Sure. Also calling in from the interwebs, Dog Will Hunt, Glenn of House Dog.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah? So what are you drinking there, sir?
I am drinking a birch beer.
Not even a diet birch beer?
Sierra Nevada Wild Little Thing is what it's actually called.
Nice.
It's part of one of those, sample packs or whatever. There's, 3 or 4 different beers that you get to try from the pack, so it's pretty good.
Heck yeah.
I'm
Sierra Nevada?
Yeah.
Nice.
And, if you get a chance, go.
To Sierra Nevada?
I'm sure it's in Sierra Nevada, but
Chico,
I've never
California.
been there before, so.
Chico, California. Apparently, the Pope of Foam says it's the most beautiful brewery in the world. So take that with however
they're
many
the ones
grains
that
of
created
salt.
the IPA. They're the ones that created the IPA.
I don't know any of this history and lore.
Do you mean this beer right here that I have on deck? Specifically,
that's what
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, not the IPA. They popularized the pale ale, the new American style pale ale.
Yeah, this is the Pope of Foam we're talking about.
This is the Pope of Foam that we're talking about, and we're not talking about him more this episode. unless we just have an inside joke that Glenn and I like to drink about. That's okay. I am drinking a beer that's highly regarded and won like the Rate Beer #1 beer like 3 years in a row, and that is Bell's Two Hearted Ale out of Comstock, Michigan. Michigan, for those who are not from there. Yeah, it's a beer, and it's tasty. So here we are, and this
Sounds
show
like
and all of the shows at thepodcastthat.com, along with everything we do here at Drawbridge Media, is produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. You can learn more about how you can help support our little endeavor here at patreon.com/stayimaginary. So yeah, let's start getting into some of the nitty-gritty details of this episode. Episode duration was around 53 minutes. It aired on August 28th, 2022. It was directed by, oh man, what is this? Greg Yatanis, and written by Ryan Condal. So, Gertrude, can you tell us a little bit about the episode description?
Sure. Rhaenyra oversteps at the small council. Viserys is urged to secure the succession through marriage, and Damien announces his intentions.
All right. Yeah, Damien as well as Damon did that.
I know. The fact that there's an E in there every single. I was like,
this is for you.
Damien.
Omen.
I can't not read it like that.
Matt Damien.
Damien. No, he's just Damon. I'm pretty sure.
And so is he. So is Prince Damon.
But he doesn't have an E, does he?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The E.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Like Bond Free by Wire. Luke, why are you making up ways to spell words? It's bonfire. Why did you put this Y in here?
All right, Ben, why don't you kick us off here on, we've got some opening credits.
We do. Patty Constantine is the top build, and a new scene, but not new music. They chose, because originally they talked about, oh, it's going to have its own theme, it's going to be its own thing, but it's the same music, but definitely a new intro there. Glenn, did you? 'Cause I see you got a note on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a new twist. It's the same song and stuff like that, but the funny thing about the last episode, I remember just saying something along the lines of maybe they're going and trying to be their own brand instead of just riding the coattails of Game of Thrones, and I think that could be just thrown out with that opening credit scene.
A little bit.
I don't know what the people have said yet, but I, for one, am a fan. I'm so happy it's back.
I like it. I'm glad they're sticking with it. It is iconic. You hear the theme, you know what what brand you're looking at and everything like that. Just like Star Wars uses the same theme over and over, and other properties use stuff across their universes. It makes sense. I'm good with it. Did do some research on it because I am not this smart. Had no idea what the fuck it actually was meaning or entailing because it was going by so quick. But it is a lineage of the bloodline from Aegon the Conqueror
and his sisters.
All the way
Yep.
And like the cogs.
Yeah,
the first cog.
King or queen.
Did you notice that in the last episode they were really focusing in on people's rings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I didn't mention it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, I gotta go rewatch and see if that was like in the lineage there. Like what? I don't know. I thought maybe connected the symbolism or whatever the symbol is on it. I didn't know if they were connected, but and I think it kind of looks like a dragon eye,
Sure.
at the beginning.
An activity in opal eye, maybe. It's a
I'm gonna-
fantastic beast dragon. There you go.
Yep. So, and then the blood actually runs through the model that Viserys is building itself. That's one of the shots we see, but basically that's the intricacies. So I thought that was a cool little, nod to what we saw him working on last episode, what we see him working on a lot this episode, and everything. And it was just like a cool way to mix all that together. And yeah, again, I'm a dum on it. I was like, okay, what the hell does this? What do these mean? I know they mean something. They just moves too quick. So I went through and saw the breakdown of everything and the certain bloodlines. There's secret lines coming that you don't see where they come from yet, but eventually you'll see them split loose. So I like the turn of it instead of basically spoiling the episode for you. They're kind of spoiling later on, but they're not. So if you pay attention, you can learn a bit more about it. I like that they're keeping that theme.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
bit like looking at the cover art on, say, one of the Harry Potter hardcover books, right? If you look at it, you're going to see most of the stuff you're going to end up seeing in the book, but you don't have any context
Of what to
for
pick
how
out.
it gets there or what that relevance really is. In my overall, I am of two minds of it. I think they did pick the right song. I think you just stick with it. I think DA kind of said it best in the live chat here. It's so iconic. I mean, they're calling it Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. I think for that reason alone, they're clearly they're trying to make this a Game of Thrones branded thing, so you keep that up. Now, whether that opens the same conversation up for other prequels in the future, I don't know, like the potential Jon Snow stories and things like that. I don't know if that fits the same, but I was kind of excited the first episode when they did nothing. Like, not a thing at all. I was kind of a fan of that because it was like the coldest open you could possibly have. It was just, here's the whole episode. Like, I don't know. I thought it was a unique choice. And I like what they did. I also just kind of thought it was really interesting that they were just not going to do anything like that. Like, not even like actor billing on there. It was just a unique choice that I'm okay with it. It just, when I first saw it, I was like, cool, but also...
You felt both of them were cool.
I did.
Equally.
I did. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of this did get shit on by a lot of fans. Yeah,
See,
in general.
That's okay. I just love that. I feel like it's like your pregame. It's your warm-up. It gets me in the mood. Gets that heart rate going, like pump it up.
Jacks. It's your jumping jacks.
It's my jump.
I think without the cold open though, like if they didn't have a cold open this one and then that had the same like thing, you would have noticed it more. I think it would have stood out.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty fair. Any other thoughts on the overall? I mean, there are people that do the full analysis of what each piece is. I mean, I think for sake of not spoiling things, let's not dawdle too long on it.
We're not sure if that's actually blood or if it's Bloody Mary mix or if it's Kool-Aid or...
It could be the Ragu Prince.
There could be Ragu that's flowing down.
Just saying, Yeah,
that makes sense.
I would have liked the same theme, just maybe with different instruments. Like, instead of doing the exact same
composition of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like same composition.
Like a kazoo and...
like a kazoo and a recorder, or just a choir of men. Wiener, floppy wiener. Because they are got the hot D. This is got the hot D.
Got the hot D.
Got the hot D. You know George had to get his wiener joke in there somewhere, so he got it in the title.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys want to go to the next scene and meet some real crabby people?
Yeah.
Krabby Patties.
So we see some men enjoying their time relaxing on the beach. The king speaks of a past king's guardsman and his replacement. Gorlies confronts him about pirates in the stepstones and his weakness. Our princess puts forth a plan, but is sent to pick out a new protector. So, one note I had really quick, because I will forget because I forgot it last time. They don't have white cloaks. They're not the white cloaks yet. I did notice that.
That's what I was like, is this gold cloaks or gold cloaks City Watch or the gold cloaks, the white cloaks?
This is the King's Guard.
That's what I was
King's Guard.
I was getting my terms all mixed up, so I wasn't sure where people went.
I noticed the last episode, and we got a little distracted by the time we got to that scene. So this one, I wanted to bring it up early, and it was just like, I mean, I'll be interested to see where that tradition comes into play if we do get to see that down the line. Anyway, who's got thoughts on that first part?
I think we should go to Glenn.
As far as the crabs?
Yes.
Yeah, I was, basically crab and punishment was my little
crab
quip or whatever, but I thought the crabs looked pretty, like, they were kind of teasing it, like, oh, this guy, like, and I think, like, I don't think they really say that he punishes it, like, in the show, like, that's spoiler stuff that I've heard about, like, that his punishment, or, to torture people is he kind of ties them up on the beach and lets the crabs kind of come in and, do their thing, kind of pinch them a little bit.
A little
while
bit.
They're
just a light pinch. It won't hurt at all.
They're playful crabs.
Yeah.
It's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, literally, it looked miserable.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty interesting job of making those crabs look, I don't know,
Crabby.
pretty crabby, if you know, as
Crab-like.
Glenn would say. Yeah, I mean, clearly they didn't train this many crabs to go and start nibbling on people, or they didn't sacrifice this many people to hungry crabs. But I thought the CGI looked pretty good on it. You know, it was unsettling, I think, is what they were going for, and it very much had a feel like some scenes from the show Black Sails, when you have someone who's like shipwrecked, and like there's just a
Sure.
dirtiness to it that I think they captured well. That I don't think they would have done as well in other shows, to sell it as being like, okay, this is more than just, oh, some guys being tortured, like, oh, whoopsie. Like, it looked pretty dire for those guys, in my opinion.
Probably a terrible way to go. If
I would say, yeah, I mean, you're probably really going to end up dying of thirst. I mean, you're just getting hurt the whole time, but I don't think those are going to really end up killing you. You know, you'll be dead in 3 days from lack of hydration and exposure.
Yep.
So it's just constant pain the whole time until that happens.
Definitely way better CGI crab than the last Fantastic Beasts.
You
movie.
watch your mouth. That is one of the best scenes in the movie.
That was a stupid.
Kids loved it.
Scene.
The kids loved it.
Stupid fucking scene.
It's silly.
Anyway.
It's silly. So we have Lord Corlys come in with a fury, right? I mean, we just see these Krabby Patties doing their thing, and he's really fucking had it with this. Like, we have got to do something. Like, are you kidding me right now? 4 ships. Where does it end, Basil? Abby, any thoughts on Corlys coming in with a head full of steam?
So I really like him. And then I don't. Everybody, this is a problem with all Game of Thrones and this whole realm. Is I like people, and then I'm like, God, no, I don't like you. So he's a dude that, like, I'm trying very hard to find all the positives to weigh out any negatives, because I just inherently like him. I'm like, I'm rooting for you, man. Like, he is so cool looking. He has such a great presence about him, and he has every right to be frustrated. I will say that I was impressed with the king a little bit more, or Viserys a little bit more. Like, he's still a spineless king, I think, or I think he's an avoidant king is a better way of terming it. But he's like, oh, because you see, like, some of his train of thought when he's speaking to them. Who backs them? What are the implications of just... So you do see that there is some, at least, knowledge that's driving these decisions. And then, my next note, unless anybody has anything to say about
go
that.
along
Yeah.
with that, I think he is a thinker king. I think he really tries to deliberate. Yeah, I don't think so, and I don't think he's dumb at all. And I think it just isn't the easiest thing for these men of action to follow someone like that all the time. But we've also just come from 60 years of straight up peace for the most part. I mean, on average, and you've got people there. It seems like he's trying to keep the status quo because, hell, the status quo has been pretty good for a long time. Like, why should we
fix what's not broken?
Start some war,
right?
When we can avoid that. And
over 4 ships, later too, or whatever. Like, in the
and very Tywin-esque. You know, a very Tywin-esque in the sense of is it more honorable to kill 13 people at a wedding than 3,000 on the battlefield, kind of thing. More men can die by the hand of a pen than by the end of a sword, and that's kind of where Viserys comes from. He's like, I have a plan. Stick to the plan, Arthur. You know, gotta get to Tahiti. You know, it's that was for Glenn, honestly.
He didn't even laugh.
I know, damn it. I was like trying to break him. But
try if you might.
But you know, so like, yeah, he's definitely not a dumb, but yeah, he's perceived as weak because he prefers the political aspect of it over the battle, and it's also because he doesn't have a dragon, so that's another perception of him. He lost his dragon, so he's not a true Targaryen king anymore.
Oh, sure he is. He's just not a dragon rider.
No, to some. I'm saying to
Sure,
some.
his
in that.
power looks diminished because he
Yes.
can't just pull the nuclear option himself. He has to send others to do that for him.
Exactly.
So, any other thoughts on Corlys? And we have also the moment with Otto.
That's
as well.
that's what I.
Go ahead, Em.
So one of the biggest things I see, this might not be Otto like talking back, but it's specifically what he does to. Sorry, I'm trying to look through these notes here to see that I'm not stepping on toes. But when he corrects or like wouldn't the princess like to do something? Couldn't we find a different usefulness for her?
talents. That was
Like,
Otto that said
It
that,
was Otto, and that like I have such a problem with that because one, like that type of dismissiveness leads to such resentment, and resentment is like so insidious. I think it is one of the most insidious feelings you can have, and he doesn't come back from that. So however this unfolds, I have done no more reading, so I don't know how this unfolds, but like I do not see him seated with her or in her good graces. And at some point she will be taking over per the plan. So why are you stepping into the place that was her father's? I'm not even saying that she didn't overstep, because she probably did. But that was her father's place to correct. And he didn't. And instead of correcting, and instead of like taking that, somebody else did it for him, and then he does an avoidant practice.
Yeah.
And he does a patronizing, it's okay, I have a really important job for you. Like, and sure, it is an important job, but it's to almost navigate around the awkwardness. And while like that's cool, she gets to go do something, he didn't have her back. Like, hey, I've got this, or I will take care of my child. It's just, this is like such a small little, let's go to therapy while all our parents make us go to therapy when we're older. Like, let's break down your childhood moment. Right here. Like, I just think it's going to bite both of those men probably pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'm hoping before the end of the season.
Yeah.
We'll see it.
Glendog, any thoughts on that exchange?
With Otto?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like it doesn't really have anything to do with that, but we forgot to touch on this last time, and like maybe we can start a new show about this. But Otto is a palindrome. I don't know if anybody do that or not.
I mean, we're gonna start the whole episode over. You have to have that in your notes. If you're gonna drop that kind of bomb on us, Glenn, I mean, come on.
It's like I said, we're gonna have to start a brand new thing. I think
just a show all about palindromes.
Palindromes, probably
Premature palindromes.
I'd assume. Yep.
That's it.
Something else I was gonna say was, so they give like a little hint of like how much time has passed between episodes, I guess, because somebody says Daemon has been on Dragonstones for half a year or 6 months, so that tells me right there that about 6 months has passed since the last time.
Yeah.
Thank God for Glenn.
They get for Corlys Velaryon to be able to tell us that.
No, Glenn, I'm on board with you, Glenn. I actually completely agree, because it's like that was one main issue a lot of people had with Game of Thrones itself, because and even in the books, he doesn't give the passage of time very well. Like,
you just have to connect things being talked about in the background.
Yeah, like, oh, Danny's over here in Marine, but that entire storyline happened in the first 2.5 books or whatever, and this one's happening 3 books in advance. So I like them saying, okay, we're 6 months past from last episode, you're caught up, here's what's happened, and go. And it makes it feel like you don't have to do all the fucking algebra and
mental
geometry in your head.
gymnastics to
Exactly.
get it.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
maybe a bit hokey sometimes to like say a specific date where I agree it's what you need to do sometimes. I think they delivered it well. Because he's putting it in a moment of frustration. Like, it's been 6 goddamn months. What have
But they
you
say
done?
it more than once.
They do say it
That's the
again
problem,
later
I
on. They do
think.
say it again later on as well.
But in reference to different things.
Yes.
So it's
Right.
not like they're so it's,
No,
it's
I agree.
well done. Yeah.
But I think that also is a cleaner way for them to consolidate some of these stories and not have to show us every single scene. Where we got to in some of Game of Thrones season 7 and 8, it's just like abandoned plot lines more so. Like, let's just ignore that was a thing, as opposed to we're just not going to show you that, but that's what happened. You know, like, let's just move on to the
Wait,
meat.
how did we get here? Like,
Wait. Yeah.
I was really trying.
How did Microfinger get from King's Landing to the Wall in like an episode and a half? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it took Tyrion, 2 seasons to get,
He took the long way home.
Right.
We took the long way round.
All right, so then we get to go outside with our princess, who's getting a chance to show her mettle in deciding who should be protecting her and her family, which I thought, I think Abby said it was a bit of a condescending thing for him to make it. But I do think what I wanted to say when you were talking about that, I agree that Viserys was pulling an avoidance move. It feels like he believes he's being like a conciliator, but it's coming across as avoidance, and he also is trying to navigate that without upsetting anyone.
It's very passive.
It is, because he's got to stay
it comes across as patronizing. Like, I think he always had the intention of looping her in to this decision, but chose a bad moment.
Yeah, and
Because
I think he's trying to save face for him, for Otto, and for her.
He feels like he's protecting her.
So he's taking it upon himself to maybe make
come in the middle.
a choice on her behalf. I agree. There were better ways of doing it.
Well, again, too, like I said with his wife, I believe he really loves her, and I believe he loves his daughter, and he does have faith in her. But he isn't going to bat for her. Like,
Sure.
He's doing it in like that, it's okay, like, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
Versus, like, this is the decision, and you will all fall in line.
He is not Tywin.
Because he's not that guy,
Tywin.
right?
He just throws a mandate down
And I think
says, this is what it's going to be.
Eventually she'll be very resentful of that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But she does go out, and I think she does a pretty good job of talking about the things that she believes are maybe the most valuable things that a Knight of the King's Guard should have.
Yeah.
Glenn, any thoughts on the 2 guys that she set aside for somebody else?
My note was basically they seem like they really make a focal point with these action figures / game pieces or whatever that, oh, this is so-and-so from wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like slide his game piece over.
Right.
Like it's going to be featured in House of the Dragon Monopoly or something like that.
Yeah.
or Risk or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you have to figure they're in peacetime, so all their smiths and woodworkers have nothing else to do. So fuck, go make game pieces.
Yeah. All right.
So my only thought on this scene, Rah-Rah, because I'm gonna mispronounce.
I love
names.
when I saw your note in here. I was like, "What? Who?" And I was like, "Oh, I like it. Okay, Rah-Rah." Yes.
Rah-Rah, Onan Ott, and LC, because Harold. What is it? It's not Harold Harding. But like Lord Commander Harold.
Westerling,
right?
Is it Westerling?
Harold Westerling, yeah. And it was
right.
Ryan Redwine that died earlier that we touched on, but didn't really talk about.
But like she just straight up owns them and was like, oh yeah, these are turning knights, and she's like looking at like the Lord Commanders like you were, like what battle have you actually seen, kind of thing, and calls out the one guy she was a bit smitten with last episode and everything, but he's got battle, he's worked alongside other knights and shit. So it was like, it's smart. It shows she's not just, a dumb girl. You know, she knows what she's fucking talking about.
Well,
You know, even though they're like, what about the politics of this? These families are strong. Yeah. So, what's more important, the life of the king?
I think
or-
it's very interesting too because I think all of these people, Otto's out there, right?
Mhm.
And then
And Harold. Yep.
Westerling, he's out there. They're probably very conditioned to how Viserys likes to make his choices politically and politicking his best deck of cards,
Mhm.
where she's like kind of breaking that mold of, can we consider maybe that not being our only go-to move? And so I'm sure it is very like kind of like, oh, that's not what your dad really wanted. Like, weren't you paying attention all these times? You were handing us cups, cup there,
Right.
like. And she's like, no, I'm gonna do. I liked it. I don't know. I think it came across as the right choice.
Yeah, I'm interested. You know, I think we only see the first two before she lands on Kristen Cole, and he is the only one that has seemingly, you know, been fighting off the Dornish, who are not a part of the kingdom at this point.
And
So they're constantly. He's kind of at the very south end of the Stormlands in the Dornish marches. It's kind of part of the areas of contention that the Dornish are. They're kind of vying back and forth as to where that line is, right? Just for where the kingdoms start. So he grew up in that area. He's actually the son of the steward of House Dondarrion.
yes.
So
Did they say
I
that in
told
the
you.
episode?
I don't know if they
It-
specifically said his dad's name. And I think they said House Dondarrion, but I don't remember if they specifically said.
They referenced it. I
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly if it was, but they made it seem like he had some affiliation with the Dondarrion men.
Yeah.
Is he more of the Static Lord? Anyway.
I don't really know. Like,
I don't get it, Benji. I'm sorry. I would love to laugh.
Lightning Lord joke, static electricity joke. I think he's what he's going for.
Okay.
That's where I was going from.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Nope, all good.
I'm sorry.
It was more to entertain the people in chat. than you guys.
Those smart people over there. Hopefully, everybody
Hopefully,
laugh.
So yeah, so
Dondarrion knighted him. Okay.
Right.
He said it. Okay. That's
right,
what it was.
and so what we find out during this is basically again, all of these knights have been just living in peacetime. There haven't really been any opportunities unless they were going to go be sellswords over at Essos or somewhere, or fighting in the Dornish fights. And I like the point that she gets to. I'm sure they kind of went through the other 6 guys that were there first, and she's just like, Tourney Knight, okay, Tourney Knight, Tourney Knight, okay. And then she gets to the point, do any of them have battle experience? And that's when they call out
One.
Kristen Cole. And no, our video's not going to end in 10 minutes. If it does, we'll call right back. So, I like that she gets to that point. That's what I said. And and Harold is seemingly hesitant, right? Because he knows what Otto is looking for. I think he knows what Otto is looking for. It's one of these 2 other houses that are much more powerful, much better allies to the crown. But I don't think Westerling thinks it's, not a smart choice, because I think he kind of respects that she puts her foot down and says, no, like, I was given this task and this is what I think is valuable.
Yeah. He gives me half Davos, half Jorah vibes. I think he's pretty much just gonna adore everything that she does.
I get a little bit of Dario. Where's Dario?
Oh, from
for Kristen.
Kristen Cole, yeah.
Oh, I thought that's who you're sorry.
No.
Harold Westerling.
Harold Westerling.
Oh, Harold. I apologize.
No. But no, you are absolutely right.
She's a bit smitten.
There's
like.
some chemistry. Bound chicka wow wow.
All right.
All
We
right.
can move on. Abby, you want to read the title of the next section?
No, because I just got an Apple laptop and I don't know how to function it, and I have to scroll. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Seriously, somebody read it, because I'm
all right.
19 cells away.
Sounds like you're supposed to.
No, it's fine. It's just a joke I had. So a friend.
Abby, say it.
Say it
No.
like.
Viserys isn't there. You're not supposed to read that part.
I know, Abby.
Alright.
I don't know who that is though, so I'm very confused.
She's a friend. She's a daughter. She's a child. She's a mother.
She's a saint. She's a sinner.
There you go. Yeah.
We're
All
just
right,
gonna
anyway.
marry her.
Bad jokes.
Sorry, I wish I would have got it. It took me too
No,
long.
it's all good. It was a late edition.
You've got to give more
All right.
stage direction, Benj.
I think it's
know.
too early
When
in the day.
Yeah,
It
whenever
is too
I
early.
get like my photographs taken, they're like, "Put your arm," and I was like, "Can you just come over here and pose me? Like, you're gonna have to really just there. Great. Next time, Benj, phone call first. That was
Fair
great
enough.
though. I wish I would have done it.
I think we all need to
thought of it,
just
literally. That's why I blanked on what you and Luke were talking about.
can everybody just chug a beer or whiskey just so Benji's jokes can land a little.
Here's the Benji's jokes getting better.
Benji's jokes.
The more we drink, the better they get.
Right.
No, I think
All
he's
right.
there. I think all of us are slow.
So Lady Alicent learns of history of Valyria and gives some advice about the king's daughter. She then counsels his daughter on her father's love. The king is proposed a new bride by his cousin and the master of ships.
All right, so we
basically the
see
three
some
scenes-
time.
Oh, go ahead.
We see some time here with Alicent, right, talking to the king, and this is where we see some of the stone sculpture things, right? And he tells her some of the buildings that used to be in Old Valyria and how he's not really the one building them, but he's studied the old books and is kind of coming up with the designs of it, and why he's working on the dragon pit is kind of reminiscent of something that they used to have in Valyria, and I think it's kind of a neat way for them to show some common interest. I mean, I think this relationship, and we'll spend a lot more time on this a little bit later on, is complicated. It's a little weird for people, but in general, it seems like they have genuine common interests, either in the grief that they're both going through on their own, or her remembering grief that she is seeing in him. I think they really are connecting on a genuine level on that, as just somebody that can be there for him, who's the only person around him that's even worried about his own personal emotions and mind state. Like everyone else is just, you got to do this. Hey, don't do this. Why aren't you doing this? And he's like, I've tried to tell you guys, I'm still pretty damn upset. Like for real. I'm still kind of brokenhearted about all this with my wife dying. And she's the only one right now giving him the time of day to talk about those things, and not just, well, you have a duty, so fucking ball up and go do your job. I think Rhaenyra would, but he's not opening up to her because he's afraid of opening some of those conversations with her, I think. But I do think there are a lot of genuine respects that these two have for each other, and there are some problems with it. It's a little weird, but I just wanted to say that I do see some.
I feel like she's not being completely disingenuous. Like, she has gone through this with her own mother, and I think the best people to help you through grief are people who have felt great grief in their life, because it's something like, if you haven't gone through a great time of grief, you just simply can't understand. And so you are able to give grace and space to just do nothing, or talk about whatever you want, or talk about the histories, because all you want to do is not think about it or not have a job at the time, distraction. But I take her as very opportunistic, personally, extremely opportunistic. Not that I think she's bad, but I don't find it genuine at all.
I don't see much opportunistic stuff.
With
See,
her dad driving it,
Her dad
I'm
is opportunistic.
sorry. I think she is caring, and she is doing a job for her dad.
See, and
I think
I'm
she
reading this a
genuinely
different way now.
cares for him. And I'm not saying I'm right.
No, I'm not saying you're
am
wrong.
trying to see it I can't see it any other way than
So
her having an intimate knowledge of what he needs because she's been there and exploiting it and being quiet and being there and being that person. I don't know. Like
I get it.
that's probably very cynical, but
Benji.
It is a little cynical, and I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. The way I read it more of, yes, she was ordered / guided to do this by her father, and we do get a scene later on between the 2,
Mhm.
and in that scene, he does tell her, "Are you going to see him tonight?" Kind of like he's ordering her again, and she's like, "Yeah," but you can tell in their conversations, she genuinely is caring about what he's talking about. And so I honestly can't say it's her being manipulative. I think it's her actually growing feelings in this position that she was placed in. You know, I think she's genuinely having feelings, made because of the conversations and the time they've spent together. And that's just how I'm reading
That's
it now,
okay.
especially after that later scene, with Otto, because she's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like downtrodden, but because she doesn't want her dad to know how much she actually is enjoying what
I
she's
do
doing.
believe she's enjoying it. I do believe she likes his company, or like I think she likes having him to talk to.
Glendog, thoughts on
Yeah.
this burgeoning relationship?
I think like the first episode, like you kind of saw like it was kind of an awkward, she comes in with a book or whatever, and he's just like, okay, like, sure, I guess you can sit in here and watch me like
Yeah.
dick around with this like sculpture thing. And like now it's progressed into like they're having conversations and talking to each other more. Another thing is like he's kind of neglecting his daughter though, because he's kind of spending all this time with her, and like they have like him and his daughter haven't really talked at all since then. And not that like, oh, they have to talk or anything like that, but she references later that, oh, you've only spoken like 2 words to me. So it's just kind of like, you're spending all this time with Allison and not, with your daughter, which I think is kind of
And
weird.
Allison calls them out on that. She, calls both of them out on it, saying, "You
I
need to
think
go."
she
them.
facilitates it.
Yeah.
And not call. You're right. Calls him out. I think that is a very kind thing that she does, because I don't know if I'm always going to have the highest opinion of her, which crushes me. But like she is very much like go to each other, confide in each other. I like that so much that she. I'm done talking now.
Hang on. We gotta call him back. So Abby, talk about something interesting. We'll fill that in later.
Oh, are we? Okay, cool. So can you tell me right here, this scene though, they're talking, is it like Valyrian history or something? Like I think it's, and I could be wrong, I'm just trying to talk here and Luke's doing his job and he's not focusing on me. So I think
I
right
am
here,
trying to listen.
no, it's okay. I think right here is when they say something about like, they go through the histories. Yes, Benji, thank God for him because he has it right here in the notes. And she's like, to me, it sounds so like puffing of his ego. She's like, oh, wow. That's amazing. You're strong. Jeepers, mister.
Jeepers, mister.
You're strong. Yeah, like, it is just so, like, and I think that is where I can't see this any other way as opportunistic, even though I do believe she's getting things out of this. And I think our guys are back, and I'm...
Yeah, so
there we go.
Your point, Abby, yes, this is when they were talking about the history of Valyria, basically Valyria being in the mouth of the volcano.
Yes.
Hinting at that was the doom.
Yes.
Like, because nobody officially knows what the doom was, but they're trying to lay seeds that it was a volcano explosion to knock out their history.
Yeah, I just think, like, I think that's guiding very much the way, and then that I feel about this is her response to like him like, oh yeah, this is what happened. She's like, oh my goodness, tell me more. How does a carburetor work? I love cars. Like, I
think it's pretty pessimistic how you're coming at it. I personally, I do. I'm not saying.
sorry.
I think
like,
that's the whole point of why they're doing some of this way in the show. Is
it's
to
confusing.
create some of this dichotomy and these, I'll say, arguments. Whatever you want to
Yes.
say. I think they're doing this on purpose to be a bit nebulous as to whose intentions is she following. Are they being? I think there's no doubt what Otto's doing at all.
Yes.
I
But-
did listen to an interview with
The girl.
Emily.
See this?
and-
Okay, thank you. Tell me what your thoughts on this are.
The way the actress is saying that she was playing this was very much kind of like what I think Benji and I are getting at, and that's how I read it at this point. I don't take any nefarious or even overreach. I think she genuinely just wants to help him out right now, and I think she's becoming aware of what her father's intentions are, but I don't think that's what she's playing at. I don't think it's really on her radar right now. Personal, investiture radar.
Right.
I think she's aware of what her dad wants, but not necessarily something for herself.
And we'll get to.
There's no way we can know right now, but.
And we'll get to my not rebuttal, but another point of that a little later,
Yep.
Luke. So let's kind of bounce off from
Sure.
those two, unless anybody's got anything else.
We
I
just
just
had
saw
to get our light.
I just saw Decker's comment about the little finger roll. I was assuming that was me fixing the video, but I don't think it is.
This is why we don't jump in. I don't know what Mr. Decker over here is referring to, but the little finger roll, this is why,
I
folks.
think
We
he's
do
talking
not.
about Otto.
No, we
I think
don't
he's talking-
jump in on a horse. We don't pick the dark horse. You don't ask the first episode who your guy is.
All right, Abby, who's
I already told you, Westerly is my guy.
There you go.
Without a doubt.
There you go.
Graham McTavish. It's my man.
So let's maybe move on from Allison to the King, and let's jump outside where we have a bit of a coming to terms with Corlys and Rhaenys and the King.
Well, no, not
did I,
yet.
did I skip one?
We did. You have. She then counsels the daughter. Basically, the prayer scene in the Sept.
Oh, yeah. My bad. Yep.
Hot
Yeah, so
candle.
Hot candle. That's why we have a candle behind Abby today.
It smells delicious. It smells like a good-looking man.
Yeah, I mean,
There you go.
a decent scene. Like you can kind of
Like
see
Graham
both sides.
McTavish.
What Abby was talking about of, is she playing it up or is she being a good friend? And I think in these scenes, she's just being a genuinely good friend, trying to be a good person, and helping father and daughter mend their ways and everything, and help because. Again, book-wise, it's a little odd because Allison's supposed to be about 10 years older. So this scene would actually hit better if the age was more appropriate in the sense of instead of it was another girl, it's more of a motherly figure trying to help, her, younger friend or whatever through this time apart from equals. It felt a little odd in this scene, but it was still a good scene. The facial expressions and the body language and everything was actually well acted on both parts.
Glenn, which was your favorite candle?
Candle number 39 was.
I like the one in the wind.
It's always been my favorite. Yeah.
Oh.
So, but this scene, there is another hint, and I think they were listening to our episode last time because I made the point of when Viserys was getting sworn in, his wife was definitely pregnant or whatever, and then the aftermath was 9 years later, and I was like, well, is that supposed to be Rhaenyra? But she does say here that she is 15, so there's just another hint of kind of like Damon's been away for 6 months,
Giving you a timestamp.
Tidbit to just let you know exactly how old she is or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think this turned out to be a pretty sweet scene between two friends who kind of, when we first saw them in that one of those, the really kind of opening scene after the prologue, right? It starts with her flying in on the dragon, and they look just like genuine friends, right? It's not necessarily, I mean, it's just the ladies of the court, right? That's who she has around to be friends with, and it doesn't seem disingenuous. It doesn't seem like I think this kind of colors how I'm viewing Alicent currently. Of I think she does care about both her friend and her friend's dad, and
Right.
her friends,
Her friends for the dad.
friends for
Fran
the dad.
Drescher.
Oh god, oh man, the nanny, but yeah, it was a nice scene. They kind of open the door to how religious Alicent is, and that's something that she kind of retains from her mother. And it's something that I think she uses as a bit of a door to open for Rhaenyra to be able to talk to her about losing her mom, which then she then is able to guide that relationship into, hey, you should probably talk to your dad about this. Like, it just seems like something you guys might gain something by talking about. That, not that I know anything, I don't have any inside information, but you should maybe talk to him.
I haven't been visiting him or anything, but you should go talk to him.
I don't know anything about his great stone dragon or anything, but
That he dropped and broke. But
yeah, it was a nice moment between two friends, and it was just good to see that someone's there for her as well. Alicent's very much being a caretaker for both of them because neither of them have that going on, and it probably does color some of the way I'm viewing Alicent in the scene before. It just seems like between both of these scenes, as Benji was saying, she really is just kind of caring for these two people in her life.
yeah, and I think like Rhaenyra, you see her kind of open up and vent a little bit about what her problems are, her troubles, or instead of just keeping stuff in. And you kind of see her. I think at one point she says, I don't want to be treated like a little girl," and that in reference to like not being taken serious in the council. And she says something that has some merit, but it's like, oh, why don't you go? We'll go worry about something else.
I really identify with her here. That's how I feel when I walk into Home Depot.
I know more than you.
Just Ron Swanson it. I do not need your help getting this plywood in. I will do it myself. Thank you. Are you sure you want this Diablo blade? That is not. Could you stop treating me like a little girl? I'm just kidding. But I get it. She's sweet. And I think her wants are valid. And I think this is a true friendship that's just about to implode.
So from the chat, I just want to reference this. Our friend in the Imagination Realm mentions, I thought that they were distant in that scene compared to episode 1, like foreshadowing of a rift, as though Alicent was trying to edge into a mom role. I think you could. I think all of this is so nebulous.
Yes.
You can once you know more information, there are many ways you can color these conversations. I think they did that on purpose. I really do.
They definitely created distance between them.
Yeah.
They weren't little girlfriends anymore, to some extent. But I don't know if it's quite motherly on purpose to where she's trying. Because I still don't think Alicent's vying to become the queen. I just don't see that right now.
I do.
Not yet.
Hey, let's revisit some of this.
Yeah, that's okay.
At the end of the episode, we'll come back.
But I do think she's active. I think Alicent is actively trying to create a little bit of distance, maybe. Like,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But that could be. That certainly could be. Corlys?
All right. Yep.
Corlys King and Rhaenys.
Yeah, so this is my big note of it, is I liked the respect that was shown between Viserys and Corlys during this. It's kind of that old school mentality of like Washington politics kind of thing. We can be assholes to each other in the chamber and we can disagree, but at the same time, we can go out and have drinks and we're friends and hey, we're actually family. So, the respect that was shown on both ends was admirable, and I think it was genuine on both ends. Corlys' apology and the king's acceptance and saying understandable, understanding his point and everything. So it was a well performed scene in that respect because they showed the respect to each other. And then what else do I have here? No, it's best kind. And the king actually genuinely seems like a nice guy. Like I said before, he doesn't seem like an idiot. He's not the right kind of person to lead because he is kind of weak, and he's a political leader over a warrior leader, and most people just don't respect that. But the proposition itself that was made makes the perfect sense. It really does. Except that the girl is like 12 and just little icky.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. There is a bit of a old boys club moment here of like, hey, yeah, we disagree, that's fine, but at the same time, uh, you're the right person in this job. Like I have you in this position for me because I know you're the right person to do it, Corliss. And he really levels with it. It was like, I'm sorry things got heated. Tensions were high. That happens. But at the same time, they're all pulling the same direction. Whether there are different methods to get there, I think Viserys does a good job of playing that politicking card to smooth things over. And Corlys is very receptive to it, in my opinion. He's very much open to, I respect you for coming, like having this chat, and like thanks for doing this. Can I speak plainly? And Viserys gives him like, yeah, I always welcome the unfettered advice from my counselors. Like that's specifically why you're my guy, right? Like I get it. And I really thought they did a good job of kind of getting to what they see as one of the hearts of the problem with his reign right now. It does look like there's inaction going on from outsourced areas that maybe someone wants to come and swoop in and try to make things happen. And it looks like you're kind of allowing that because you haven't remarried. You haven't done anything about the stepstones. We haven't done anything about your brother taking the seat of House Targaryen at Dragonstone. Like this looks like a lot of inaction that it looks, if you're looking from an exterior viewpoint, someone could just come in and make a move and they have no reason to believe that you wouldn't do anything about it. So I think he does a pretty good job, and his wife does too, Princess Rainey. She does a good job of saying these things don't look good right now. Like doesn't look like we're doing enough. I'm not saying let's go and do absolutely everything. Here's another option. And it probably is politically the best choice for him to make because it does solidify an old Valyrian house with an older Valyrian house for that whole tradition. And yeah, they're also the richest family in the country right now, is what they say. And you're also showing this power, this brute force power of, hey, I'm also marrying into this one of the strongest military things that I have access to. So I think, again, totally ignoring the ickiness of she's 12 at this moment.
She looks 9.
She looks like 7.5, 8 to 9
She looks like
with a
my
gigantic
daughter.
wig.
Like,
we'll come back to this.
Yeah,
But ignoring that side of it, by the books, by the politics.
You're supposed to do like this. Buy the books. I remember that from the first
I do
time
remember that. That's a long time ago.
I had no idea that was a thing, but it was.
I had a different haircut at that point. But I think it's probably the smartest choice currently.
Yeah, I think the purpose of these sidebars that the king has been doing, he does it a couple different times in the episode, but I just think it's just an opportunity for them to speak kind of freely without being in the presence of the rest of the peers in the council, where I can kind of say what I mean to you without looking weak or anything throughout the whole group. I think he wants an opportunity to talk differently than he would in the council room.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, a lot gets done behind closed doors, right? And this is obviously not behind closed doors. It's out in the open, away from the closed doors.
But nobody's listening this time.
But they have privacy to get more to the point without Otto jumping in and changing the narrative, which is what we've seen as well. It's like those two are playing on Viserys, and he, like we said, is always trying to find a bit of a middle ground. And so far, but at the same time, Otto is the hand of the king. So I think he puts a little more prescience into that side of it because he named him the guy who speaks for me if I'm not here. So they need to be a little bit more on the same page to some extent. But he does seem like he's showing Otto potentially using him as a puppet a little bit more often.
I feel like Viserys, his abilities are very not shown in the kingship, in the whatever you want to call it. However, he would be a great mediator. He would be a great hand of the king. Like, it's not that it's unfortunate, but he is in the wrong role.
Right guy in the wrong job.
He is a great guy. Like, he is just in the wrong role. And I think, I don't know, we can argue it if anybody has a different point, but...
So what you're saying is Princess Rhaenys should have gotten it and he should have been hand of the queen.
I honestly, that would probably been all right, but he is a really level-headed, let's think this through, here are the implications, but he's not a pull-the-trigger guy. And
sometimes that's the right choice.
The do-nothing option is strong with this one.
Especially in peacetime.
I'm just kidding.
You know?
No, that's who Barry says. He's fucking
The mom?
Martell. No,
Martell? What?
Yeah.
Luke knows.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's, Prince Martell.
Prince Martell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. I was thinking
I've been like trying to like figure out
Get
where
your-
it is, and
So you're saying he's staying in the weeds.
yeah.
Cool.
He lets Daemon be the snake. He,
I could see some connections there. Certainly.
yeah.
Doran
so-
Martell. Yep.
Thank you. Yes, Doran. So, all right. Everybody good on that block of scenes?
Yeah. Good scene. Good, interesting things.
Okay.
Walkie-talkie.
So,
All right.
now we got some more walkie-talkies.
Yeah, so we have dinner leeches. I believe they were maggots.
Maggots, yes. I corrected myself in the description.
Gotcha. So we have dinner, some maggots, some walk talk, and some is that confidences?
Confidence is just badly spelled. Yes.
Just making sure that's what we were going. And not like conferences.
Well, like,
or something. It's okay.
Confederacies.
Yeah, no, I was like looking for that was just gonna be my notes to remind myself so I can come up with something funny, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm just leaving it. So I just didn't feel like it. All right, so the king and his daughter share a brief meal and a brief conversation. He feeds some maggots and asks for counsel, then takes a walk to get to know a young lady. The princess and the queen who not was discuss realities of this world. The king confides in his hand's daughter. So there's a big block of scenes, but it's only honestly like 8 minutes of the show. So it's pretty quick scenes altogether.
Yeah, but
Anybody got anything on?
I think a lot does happen here.
It does. It does. I'm
So-
not saying there's not a lot.
This is the first time we really see Rhaenyra talking to Viserys again, right? After we've already been talking about them not talking again and again.
Yeah.
This is kind of that first time. And they kind of come to some good things, but they don't get all the way there yet. Like they're kind of talking about, hey, we really haven't talked. And she tries to sort of apologize for speaking out of turn, if you will, during the...
I don't think she was trying to. I don't think she was trying to apologize for that. I think she was trying to bring up, hey, this is what I wanted to do.
Oh, I didn't get that at all. I thought she was just like in the council room. So I thought it was an apology.
I thought it was going to be an
I
apology.
missed it. Ooh,
I thought it was
gonna-
okay. Ooh,
Just straight up in
girl.
the council room, I wanted to, I was giving.
Right.
I think
Well,
she was
think
just
nothing
showing
of it.
justification, not necessarily an apology, but she was trying to justify where she was coming from. But I do think
And
she
he-
would have taken it on a more apologetic tone because of how everything happened and it was reacted to. But he shuts her down immediately, and I thought that was pretty disrespectful.
When
I-
he says, "You will learn."
Yeah.
Oh,
He was-
see, I
and, well,
liked
he
it.
took it as an
young.
apology,
Oh, he said,
yeah.
"You will learn."
He said, "You're young. You will learn," when she tried to speak again.
but it wasn't like him. But that wasn't him shutting her down in an insult way. It was him shutting her down as a child in the sense of, because he thought she was saying, "Oh, I want to apologize." He's like, "Oh no, to think nothing of it." Like
I guess that's why I
And he's
thought
like,
it
"Think
was an
nothing of it.
apology.
You're young, And no, he shuts her down
Ooh.
before he can even hear her.
Hear her out.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's
no, it was
juicy.
definitely a slight. It was not a slight that he intended, but it was
It
definitely
absolutely
slight
was,
her.
though.
I
She
missed
certainly
it.
will take it as a slight
Yes.
of like,
Oh, yeah, that's what
I
I'm
guess
saying.
fuck
Yes.
me, choose me as your heir, and what the fuck is that worth? If you're throwing me out of the small council, and now you're not even letting me have a chance to show where I was coming from, because you're shutting me out again. You're shutting me out again, and
My youngest likes to say, "Never mind, I wasn't talking.
I feel like
I'll shut up now."
I feel like we have someone on our podcast, not on this show, but on similar, that follows a
I-
similar move.
Very much wanted to speak with her today because when he said that, I was like, I didn't realize how hurt you felt by it because I can see within him the hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But she is much more like Rhaenyra. That's like, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here we are now.
Noted.
Yep. Here we are.
Or if we're an Outlander fan, mark me.
Glenn, any thoughts on the interaction between these two?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most fluid conversation during dinner ever. Like, but I mean, I just remember when I was a kid, my mom would always like we would sit down for dinner and stuff, and she'd always be like, "All right, everyone has to tell me 3 things about their day," and everybody like, "No, like no." Okay, fine. Number 1, my day was good. Number 2, my day was fine. Number 3, my day was great. All right, I'm done. All right.
You're the worst, Glenn.
Yeah.
How
I'm gonna try
dare
to do that
you?
with 6 of us or with 5 of you. It's like 20 minutes. I was like, fuck, we don't care.
Well, like,
Shut
yeah,
up.
my sisters were the same way. They're like, "No, we're not. This is not a
You're
tradition
all
that
the
we're gonna."
worst.
Sounds like we should have a family dialogue about this, guys.
Absolutely. But hey, if you had to sit there and not be excused, though, that's when the shit was about to go down.
Yeah.
Everyone else can leave.
And-
You guys are fine. Can I be excused? No.
Yeah. All right. So next scene is the maggots. So
Real
the
quick,
cut we saw-
I have one
oh,
more
go ahead.
quick thought. I'm sorry.
Here
One
we
thing
go.
that she does get out there, though, she actually gets through to him a little bit on the Kristen Cole selection. You know, I think she's trying to show that, hey, I did take a responsible choice on the thing that you tasked me with.
Right.
And he agrees with her. You know, I'm sure it'll be
I
a
think
great
it's more of
choice.
a placated. Like he didn't care.
You don't think so? God,
I don't
but
think
we
he
are reading
cared.
these things so differently. Like,
Like
It was pretty
like, oh yeah,
short.
it was a that was a good choice. It was like, you know, to my kid, that was a very good B.
see, oh my goodness, that one
know,
I
like-
felt like was actually like a genuine, like, okay, I'm seeing who you are. Okay, good job. Like,
I mean,
I'm not gonna argue
when I
it.
say to, when I
It's
say to
so
my son, that's a
crazy.
very good B. That's a very good B. Good job. Okay, moving on.
I mean-
It's like a nothing in the realm of actually impressed, but I mean, it's impressed to the level that you put them at, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, good job, yay, you know, I'm proud of you. But it
yeah, and that's how I
really
felt
didn't
earlier.
resonate.
And you guys said no. And now that's not how I feel. That's so great. They are doing a good job. Well done.
Yeah.
Creating a divide.
Glenn, you had a thought on that?
I think it's definitely a case of he gave her the task of selecting, you know, the knight or whatever. So if he has anyone to blame, like, he should blame himself
All right.
for
Alright.
for doing, you know. So
Yeah. He was happy
if you
with
wanna
any
be
of the choices that she was able to select.
right,
Like,
but if he wasn't, then you know that was his fault.
So, all right, the next scene is the maggot scene. Basically, so we get the cut from the previous episode that was just on his pinky is now gone infected, and it's not jaundice. It's what's the term I'm looking for? But it's
Gangrene.
gangrenous.
necrosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Necrosis.
Gangrene.
There you go. Yeah. And so, like, I like those little subtle nods. See, like, we didn't get anything talking about the back, but now the hand is. So, like, this makes me think this dude's anemic. Like, there's, you know, and I know there was always like an assumption too. Like, there was issues with the blood and everything of the dragon itself, along with the craziness and all that. I want to say I remember reading something about the Targaryens actually have a history of anemia too. So, like, easily blood loss and all that kind of shit too. Like
Slow
when
healing.
was it Maegor who died from the cut from the throne? I think
It's questionable.
Maybe they're diabetic.
Unconfirmed.
Also.
unconfirmed. Yes, but it's speculated that he is, and so it's like kind of showing the weaker kings have this blood effect on them. So again, very minor thing, but it's for people to overanalyze. Like,
I feel very persecuted by this fact.
Persecution.
I'm not gonna show you my legs on screen, but just so you know, I take it.
Scabby Abby.
Scabby Abby is in the house.
Scabby Abby.
It's summertime. Scabby Abby is here, and
she is here.
she's here. She's here to
Show it
party.
off.
Ooh, she got
Show off those
shorts on, and she is going to make water. And you can talk about Scabby Abby and necrosis as I leave.
All right. Look, buckle up, boys. Here it comes.
All right. Well, there's that.
Yeah,
all right.
I
So let's
think
get
overall
into,
the point with seeing this is the crown is still rejecting him potentially. Is what we're the throne. I apologize. Is what I meant. That's kind of what we were talking about last episode when we saw the cut on his back, and obviously this is 6 months later, so it's happened again. And maybe it's happened in between here, because this seemed like it happened a little while ago, a couple weeks ago,
No,
and it
I
just
mean that finger was black. That finger's been dying for months. So
it
that's
would
the cut
happen.
we saw.
It would happen relatively quickly if you're not getting any kind of blood to it.
But that's their point is, he's getting like they're doing all the medical.
I'm
shit.
saying, regardless,
No-
it happened. It didn't just happen
Yeah.
right before this, so it's been happening. Is what I
Yeah.
think the point is.
Yeah, I think he's just a hot mess right now because he's got the thing on his back that we haven't really. It's not like the grayscale like we've seen with Jorah or whatever, where it just like gets larger every time. Like we just saw it the one time, and they just mentioned that, oh hey, it gets larger every time. Like I think this pinky thing's like the next thing where it just continues to get worse and worse, and like we're gonna throw everything we have at it, including maggots, as we hear, which is kind of disgusting, especially when you can hear them like just crawling around.
Yeah, Jim Magatoni.
Yeah.
All right. So from that, he does talk to Otto and the Grand Maester, and you can see the Grand Maester's just doing what he thinks right. Oh yes, that's a proper match, and that's the right thing to do. And Otto's like, I don't envy your position. Just try to be in that sly snake in the grass kind of thing of just like, the king must do what he must do, and it's you can see he's like, fuck, they're jumping on my shit, and so it was a interesting little scene between the two. I think it was needed, but not a nothing burger, but kind of a nothing burger on it because you knew where Otto was.
It's very clearly showing Otto's intentions here, where he's it seems like he's trying to pull a sympathy thing, but it's pretty obvious as to what his intentions are being shown as. Of, I don't envy you being in this spot. Like, we probably shouldn't rush into this because I have a different game that I'm trying to play, and don't ruin this for me. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
But,
All right.
Abby, any thoughts on Otto and basically talking about? So he's talking to Otto Hightower and the Grand Maester while he's got his hand in the maggots, and he mentions that, hey, Corlys came and talked to me, and he basically offered a proposal to his daughter. And the Maester, Otto starts kind of saying, yeah, I don't kind of know. She's a good match. And then the Grand Maester jumps in and he goes, like, no, this like makes a lot of sense. Like, this would be kind of the thing to do, right? And Otto's kind of like, it's sound judgment.
But I think that hesitation right there was enough to give Viserys, sorry. I don't know, I just said Varys. Don't have my notes.
Mermaid.
It's very
Mermaid,
easy.
Yeah. Miss Mary. They gave him just enough leeway or license, pause, hesitation, like to maybe there's a different avenue, and that'd be okay.
Right.
Just for a moment, maybe even. That's okay.
He's
playing well.
Being diplomatic, and he's not just shutting it down. But
Watch him end up being like the best one out of all of them, because I feel like he is the sneakiest snake.
I don't think he's trying to play all his cards, is what he's doing.
He's holding things a little bit close to the robe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. So now we get a Corlys overlooking a seaside stroll, I could put it that way, of the king and Corlys' daughter. And the one thing from this scene I found interesting was Lena being interested in where Vagar is, because history, or back to the history, future of, I don't know. It's just a nice
Back
little
to the
nod to where,
future.
a nice little nod to where she may be going, or what she's interested in. So I like that they plant the seeds early from the first. One of the first things out of her mouth is, talking about Baylor or
Oh.
uh, Balerion, talking about Balerion, and then talking about, well, Varys is still, or Vagar's still around, and yeah, but she hasn't been seen, and blah 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 blah. So
A
just,
coon's
I
age.
like that they did that.
Coon's age. Yeah, no, I thought it was good to
That's what she
see
said.
a bit of dragon interest from her, right? And
Yeah,
I thought it was, again, for how awkward and terrible this is, she is playing the part that she is being instructed to do so, right? And
So you're saying Corlys told her to, hey, you need to poke at him about the dragons. We need
no,
to
no,
find
no, no.
out
I think that was
one
a
of these is.
genuine interest of, hey, let's just make talk, and this is something I know about you. Is you are the
Well, and it's
final
also-
Balerion writer, and obviously, if you think about Balerion, he says, that was one of the most ancient things in the world, but when it died. The other thing in that conversation is Vagar, the only other one that's left now. So I think it shows that she knows her shit in the Targaryen family history, as well
it's her
as the
history,
Valyrian,
too.
as well as just the Valyrian history to some extent. But when she stops and has the other very scripted thing, that was a bit where it's like, yeah, you're just doing your job now.
Like, you
Your
can almost
father
see,
told you to say that.
you can almost see in Viz's head, like, okay, I'm like, I can maybe, 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 but then she hits him with, the line she was fed, and he's like, nope, and he was smart enough to say, "What'd your mother say?" I thought that was kind of a, all right,
Say hello to your mother for me.
See, hey goat.
Hey, it's Mark Wahlberg talks to animals.
Hey goat, how's your mother?
What
You
is
got a beard, goat?
her name?
Lena.
Lena. Okay. I was very impressed. Like, one with the actress. Like, I thought she was great, but this portrayal of a child who is so. She is able to articulate so well and engage an adult, and her social awareness and her ability to just sit within that realm. Like, I'm sure inside she felt very awkward, but she's working right there. She is working, and she is doing her parents proud. Like, it is insane to me to expect that of a child, but this child delivered like, she could not have done better to win over this will be okay.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
She even gave him the out of, like, I even understand what is to happen.
Mm-hmm.
When I turn 14, I get it. We have a couple years or whatever. Like,
yeah, but do you think
Sorry, go ahead.
moving forward that she's going to be featured much in this?
I don't know. I hope so.
I agree with what you just said, but
yeah,
like I just can't really find a role right now that she's going to be in. Maybe I could be wrong, but
so are you talking the actress or the character?
like the character, or both of them, I guess.
This is the only one that I've seen. There are actually, for this season, 3 actresses portraying this character throughout this season.
Okay.
So
There's one like Zoe Deschanel. Is that what it is? No, something Kravitz. You know what I'm saying?
Zoe Kravitz.
Oh,
Zoe
girl,
Kravitz.
yeah, that's who should be this girl.
I don't think so.
I have a crush on her. Sorry.
Who wouldn't?
I think my point was like, yeah, she could be like an actress could play her, but is she going to have like a role outside of just like a behind this? Just she's going to be featured on screen, but not really have talking roles and stuff like that.
I don't know. I think it could be a very much. What's that girl's name? Hold on. 2.5 seconds. More than that.
Carmen Sandiego.
Mormont. No,
Yeah.
Oh, Leah Mormont.
Yeah.
where she was supposed to just have the like
Have
one thing,
scene.
and maybe I'm just like hyping this chick up. I don't know. I
was actually going to ask you when Glenn said, "Do you think she's going to be back?" And I said, "Was she as good as Lyanna Mormont?"
She was, I think she was just as engaging. I loved her, but I don't know. I can't always take my like feelings and admiration and hype for somebody as what the masses agree with. I thought she was fantastic and put in this terrible precarious position and somehow came out like still retaining her innocence and abiding by her parents and within enough her being comfortable enough to articulate this all without showing like this mass how incredibly awkward this would be. Incredible.
I mean, a lady in her position specifically has been kind of trained for these kinds of things.
Right.
I mean that, and I'm not taking anything away from her. Like, it makes sense for the character to be this, and I thought she did a good job of showing actual interest for, the dainty lady, small talk of the court to give him some level of comfort of like, wow, she's beyond her years.
And continuing a conversation.
Right.
And
so I thought she did a good job of selling it, and it really kind of leads back to when it's first brought up, and it's like, man, this sounds like probably a really good option.
Yeah,
for
but then
him.
you see her, it's very
blatantly, she's hyper young.
Ouch.
And even he's like,
so
you can tell that he has a
hesitation.
Sorry, just to shout out the actress because she did do an excellent job. Nova Fuelis Mose is her name, and not much is known else about her. She hasn't done much.
She wears a gigantic wig.
I was gonna make a joke of she's actually 25, so you can feel a little less icky. But
I don't really feel. I feel very impressed by her.
Someone in the chat said that she actually was 12. I don't know.
That's great.
She aged to 25.
No, that was imagination realm. Yeah, they found the youngest, shortest actress. She was 12 but looked 8. My last thought on this scene or whatever is with Lyanna Mormont. Like, I feel like I have this quote later on, so I'm not gonna spoil it now. But she was a girl that went against your expectations, right? Like, she did not take whatever time had said, this is your place, and she was a little unexpected. So I think people rallied behind her because they're like, heck yeah, girl. And I do not know if this little lady will get that same type of love and boost up from the masses because, cool, you're doing the girl thing. Got it.
It's a lady thing.
Yeah, you're doing well at it. Like, you're doing good, and it's not that the women.
It's not a Woman of Fair Island thing.
No, like, you're doing well, and we respect you for that because, man, that has got to be a difficult position.
Mm-hmm.
But you are not going against the norm.
Right.
So I don't know if she'll be back, Glenn. Like, and that makes me sad because she was great.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah. So, all right. So next part is the discussion between the princess and the queen who... I have QWNW, and I know it's who never was. The queen who never was, but I'm going to go with the queen who was not. The queen who was not. And they discuss realities of the world. So going to a conversation I saw last night from AK's channel and everything, give a shout out to AK. Make sure you're watching here on Mondays for a reaction. They do a great show. But so they're like, oh, the princess just wasn't listening to her, and Rhaenys was giving her the straight truth. It's like, no, I mean, yes, she was. They were absolutely right. She was giving her the straight truth, but Rhaenyra was like, bitch, they didn't choose you. They chose me. They bent the knee for me, and she wasn't listening. Rhaenyra was not listening, but it was such a good burn. It was just a good line in the sand of her to her, and the key thing was with Rhaenys, though, it's because a lot of people say, oh well, yeah, she's speaking the truth, but maybe it's not. Maybe Rhaenys is just not fucking likable. I mean, we don't have the background to know the real choice. I mean, we do. We know the patriarchy. We know the way it fucking goes. But those same lords that chose Viserys over her bent the knee to Rhaenyra. So it's there is that possibility that maybe Rhaenyra's right. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she's not. But maybe there's a possibility that, you know what, they do respect me, or they'd rather respect me and my father than respect you. They just maybe didn't like you, kind of thing.
I'm going to go and say they were both 100% right in this scene. They both made every point.
I love every point both of you just made right there.
They were both completely true in their own thing. Benji, you just nailed a bunch of the things for both. Like you're saying, like maybe it's one, maybe it's, I think it's both. They were both perfect in their characters, and we've seen how Rhaenyra is a bit of. I'm going to question the status quo because things are different. Things are different. And I am different than you.
I'm different.
And it's different just in general for everything that Benji just said and for everything that Rhaenyra is saying too. She says, you know, I'm not you. They didn't choose you because they had another option.
Right.
And they chose him for this patriarchal reason. But what do you think is going to happen? Are they going to go back to you now? Like if he died right now, are they going to go to you? Like what's going to happen? No, it's going to go to Daemon. So right now, would you rather have Daemon or would you rather have me? Everyone came and knelt to me. You just weren't chosen in a vote. Like that's a totally different political move too. I really think they were both completely right. And yes, it's Switzerland, but I think that's why they wrote.
I just want to comment on that too.
That's how they wrote the scene of.
Yeah.
I love the kickbacks that Rhaenyra's just not taking her shit too. But Rhaenys is right as well. Like I think she has really great points. In her reality, 100% there's no chance that Rhaenyra is ever going to be queen. But in Rhaenyra's reality, there's no chance she wouldn't be unless something changes. And right now, that's not in place.
And question is, did Rhaenys have a dragon? Was she a dragon rider? Does she have that nuclear option at her direct fingertips? You know, because if she didn't, and we knew Viserys, I don't know if he had Balerion at that time, that, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that was the choice, but that could be the difference maker in today's realm of, Rhaenyra is, you know, Viserys dies, Rhaenyra's brought up, she got a fucking dragon. She can wipe us the fuck out. Rhaenys can't, you know, and again, I don't know if she has a dragon or not. I don't know the dragon lore, but if that's the case, that's another thing to be looked at. That a lot of people, because dragons are so normalized right now, but they overlook that shit. And that the normal
she rides Meraxes.
She does. Okay.
And she became a dragon rider in 87 AC, which was 14 years before the Great Council of 101.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Then I retract my previous statement.
I don't know specifically when. I'm going to look up when Viserys got Balerion. So continue.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I had for that scene on it. Did anybody else have anything? Glenn, do you have anything for the...
Not really, like that last part. I don't really have anything to add.
Okay.
I have so many things, but you assholes just talked through all of them. So well done.
Like Balerion died in 94, just for the record. So he wrote it, but he didn't have... Balerion was already dead before the Great Council.
Okay.
The only thing I would add is my legit note for this scene is I don't know where I fell. I don't know where I fall on the scene. Like, I get both sides. I get the hate, but I also get the, like, I'm just hating on this, or you're just not me. I'm different. I'm whatever, and you're old, and you weren't chosen, and you blah, blah, blah. And that's why I'm different. But I also get this is the way things are. And I had a hard time coming to this, like, accepting this. Don't get your hopes up. I know you're excited. I know this is what you want. I know you could do it. It's not going to happen. It's that easy letdown. And I also get almost like the girl on girl hate. You know, we all can't be friends. Two pretty girls can't be friends.
If you write two women in a show and they're not talking about a man, they have to hate each other.
Right, like that's no, like girls support girls. That's what's supposed to happen. And like we're not in competition with each other. But so many times you see that happening, or that is how it is for females sometimes. You are at each other's, it's either you or me. And this is, I just don't know how to take this scene.
Yeah.
I don't know.
agree. And oh, sorry.
No, I don't know exactly. We don't have enough. I feel like it's that like it's D, and the answer is D.
Yeah.
I do not have enough information to answer this question correctly, and that's where I'm going to stay. I'm D.
Yeah.
And
No,
I apologize.
again,
it was Melee's is her dragon.
Okay.
Meraxes was the original Rhaenyra. I apologize.
Gotcha. Fair enough. But like that's, and again, going back to AK's show and everything, I'm not disagreeing that Rhaenys was speaking absolute truth. She was. She's seen this shit before, and she can. But I just like that Rhaenyra's not backing down to her. She's not backing down because a lot of people look at her, she's just a kid and she's being young and dumb and stubborn and all this. But I don't think so. I think she feels genuinely like she could be different. Very much a Dany aspect on that, front.
I'm
Break the wheel. She's trying to change things.
not
Exactly.
going to get in a generation debate here, but I feel like so many millennials and Gen Z have this like, yeah, or Gen X and millennials have this like, yes, Gen Z, go forth and spew your fire, burn it all down, like you're not going to mess with Gen Z. I feel like that is very much like, yes, we've raised them, or we've to be different.
Fuck the boomers.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and like, whereas sometimes, you have this young generation coming up, and I don't know how to give advice to my niece who is a senior in high school sometimes. Because part of me is like, hey girl, like sometimes that's the way it is and it sucks. So you have to protect yourself. But is that the way it should be? No. So F that, burn them all. And where do I fall on this argument? I don't know.
Northwest Plaza.
Hey.
You just have to Google everything, I think.
You just...
Nowadays.
Northwest Plaza apparently has a shoe store now. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure. I probably will be doing their service for them soon enough. So
perfect.
Get some more
Anyway,
shoes.
yep. All right, last part of the scene. The king confides in his hand's daughter. So my note on this, and this is where my note was coming back to. This is when she gives him the dragon back, like she had it repaired and everything. And Ali seems to actually have developed genuine feelings for the king, not romantic wise, but she genuinely cares about him. Going back to what I was saying before, this is where that really came into play. Was she's like, she is listening, and when he brings up they're trying to get me married, that's when she starts doing the self-harm again. She started doing it. She did it early in episode 1. You can see her tearing at her fingers when she was nervous, when she was upset and everything. When like her brother, when fucking what's his name, Damon attacked her brother, she was doing it. She was tearing at her fingers and all that, self-harming because she was nervous.
Anxiety.
I didn't know that was considered self-harm. That's so sad.
I mean, the way
it's called skin
like,
picking. I didn't know it was as like.
It's not as.
No. It is. It's an anxiety-driven whatever. Yeah. I just hadn't realized. That's sad, but that's okay. Yeah. Poor. I mean, I realized she had done that, but I didn't realize like just like the skin picking or. Oh, that's sad. Okay.
Yeah, and so she had stopped it. Like her hands were like they showed her hands a couple times in the first scene. Like when she picked up the broken dragon, they made sure to show her hands and they were clean, no scabs, no scars. But as soon as the king mentions they're trying to marry me, or the Lena has been proposed to me, she kind of stops and they focus on her hands and she starts picking at them. And it's because it's not. I don't think it's out of fear. Like some people might read it as out of fear.
Is it like just a nervous tick? You think?
I think it's I think it's a nervous tick, but I think it's anxiety based. But I don't think it's anxiety caused by her father being disapproved of her not meeting her goals. I think it's her genuinely having feelings and being like, oh, well, she would be a good match. She would be. That's the she even says she would be a good match for you. At that point, and that's when she starts picking because she's like, I'm fucking lying. I'm the best for you. And Luke, I can't see you, so I don't know what you're laughing at.
I am laughing at Phil. Sorry.
Phil H.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
He was just piggybacking off what you said. It was just funny. I am not a medical professional, and I will not, but I feel like I can like seriously diagnose Allison right now. I feel like
Yeah.
she has ADHD, inattentive type right now. The fact that she is striving for perfection, she has a skin picking habit, the OCD, like the hyperfixation on correcting things within her control, and hyper focus, and then also the people pleasing things. I'm not saying that like I identify with that completely, but poor girl, this poor girl, and she doesn't want to let her dad down because that would just be one more failure. I need a psychologist or psychiatrist to come in here and just, yep.
You're saying it's getting complicated, and she feels like she's somewhat in the middle of this now.
And she probably truly, really does not have the mental capacity to even know what she wants. Because what she wants is like calmness. And what is calmness is everybody being happy. Because I can only function when things are perfect and in place. And my dad being happy with me. And me doing a good job with the king. And me doing a good job with my friend. And being a good friend. And all this guilt. And all this pressure. And all, like, it. Oh my gosh, this poor girl. I was really kind of starting to hate on her. And now I just have nothing but.
This is why this show's great. Everybody's gray.
Well,
Everybody's
yes,
gray.
And there are
everybody is
different
gray.
perspectives you can have on the same thing. I mean, how many times have we said, like, I just didn't see it like that at all? I think I think those are valid. They're
Well,
doing this on purpose, right?
Yeah, it is there very much because I never saw any of that now because I'm like, gosh, she's kind of slimy, she's kind of grimy.
Yeah,
But you guys are saying you didn't, and then whatever Benji just said right there, I was like, oh my god, this poor girl. I'm perceiving her wrong. Like,
well,
it's either or. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
Exactly. All right. So, anybody got anything else on this scene at all?
I don't even
Okay.
know what scene we're talking about.
Nope.
Then we're gonna go to which came first, the daemon or the egg. The council is briefed on a theft and a brotherly proclamation. Otto has a quick chat with his daughter. The hand arrives at Dragonstone and is shown up by a girl. Daemon has to answer to his new lady for his claims. So I'm gonna jump a quick scene because we were just talking about it. The scene between Otto and Alicent. That's where it really, stuck out that she's tearing her hands up. She's like, "Why is the most comely girl in the land do this to herself?" And he's like, and she was like, "I don't know." And that's the anxiety thing. It's the it just called out, and that's really the whole part of that scene. Besides him asking, "Are you gonna go see him again? Are you gonna go to him tonight?" Since he stepped up and everything to keep the king there. But anyway, kind of a minor, nothing scene, but
I did see how he was like clutching on her, and I did not like that. Like, that is a very
possessive.
Well, not even, but like a power move.
Yeah.
Because you can't move, and even though I'm not hitting you, I am controlling your ability to be within your own space and take steps to where you would like to be. Like, it's disgusting to me. That is. I
mean, along with the message too.
The message was terrible, but like the physical bodying things, because I never hit her. I never hit her. But you physically prevented her from moving about freely. It's like Southwest. You can now move about the cabin, and he's not. He's like Allegiant, and it's jerky. I don't know. That was not the greatest joke. Don't laugh.
Yeah. No.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Yep. So, all right, Luke or Glenn, you got anything on that quick scene? I just kind of want to knock that one out since we're on the Alicent train there.
Not really, no.
No, it's adding to she's being pushed and pulled in many different directions right now, and none of them are really by her choice right now.
Yep.
Exactly. So, all right, so let's jump backwards to the council meeting now, and we get the proclamation from Daemon, or we get the report that, the egg has been stolen, and Daemon's getting married, and she's with child, and all of this. One thing I did like is all the dragon tamers or managers all speak High Valyrian, and that's it. It's I like that little note and nod. We saw that last episode too, but it's just a cool little feature that they're doing. That if you're gonna work with dragons, you have to only speak this kind of thing.
Do they only speak that? Like, or you have like only to the dragons you can speak that? That sounds very.
Well, I mean, they were speaking in the council meeting. They were speaking with Rhaenyra, Land of the
Right.
Dragon.
But they were only ever talking to either dragons or Valyrians.
Okay, so sorry, that really, I guess, really is kind of semantics. Like, I just was wondering.
No, and that's a fair point. I don't know. I mean, all we've ever seen them is speaking to, Valyrian.
And it could be. I guess my thought on that is they might be able to speak common as well, but they might be instructed, don't speak about dragons to anyone else. Like,
Well,
don't speak
it's
about
like
dragons
preserving the
because
knowledge.
it's a secret thing almost.
Yeah.
We don't want people getting the wrong idea that anyone can do this. Again, not really sure if that's why, but there is a potential for that. We have to protect the secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, trying to think what else happened in the scene. On that one, not much. Rhaenyra does call out saying, or no, she didn't call out the dragon thing there. I think she was shut down again, but I can't remember in what aspect. Oh, she's the one that called out the egg. What egg it was?
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
And which one was it, Ed?
Dreamfire.
Dreamfire.
It was one of the eggs from Dreamfire.
Oh,
It was one of Dreamfire's eggs.
So
it was the one that was put in her brother's cradle.
That's what
for the one day that he was alive.
I did not get that it was.
That was the reason it was fucked up.
From Dreamfire, because I've been trying to compile a list of all the dragons mentioned so far, because I'm trying to get up to a total of 10.
Right.
But I haven't gotten there yet.
And we don't know anything about Dreamfire. Like, this is the first mention of Dreamfire.
Right. First mention
that we've had in the show.
Dreamfire's pretty well known for lots of eggs.
Cool. She's a fertile girdle.
There's that. Yeah.
So, all right, we get to the bridge. Otto shows up. Dragonstone looks a bit better than season 8 Dragonstone, in my opinion. A little
danker. Bigger. Just
bigger. Yeah.
Like more less weeds,
Yeah. Right. A bit more.
The grounds crew has a way better handle on it.
It's a bit foggier of a day with the clouds being there, so.
So a point I wanted to make to your guys' point from last episode, I didn't hear it in the first one, but oh my god, yes, he sounds like Ramsay. Like,
it's not even. I mean, you could convince me that on some of these recordings that it's.
Can I piggyback off that?
Go ahead.
Okay, so in like the after, like behind the scenes or in the making of, right after the show, whoever the director is sounds like either D.B. Weiss or Dan. Like, it's so close. I'm like,
was it Ryan Condal, maybe the writer?
I don't know
the
who.
Writer, probably.
I don't know.
The director was.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But I don't know who was doing the.
It's not Miguel Sapasha. I don't think he sounds like them at all.
But whoever was talking in this one, I was like, and I thought it last week too. So who's ever doing the behind the scenes?
It's Condal.
I was like.
All writers have the same voice, is what we're saying.
Aren't you doing other things and then not now? I don't know. Anyways, so
you're not supposed to be in this. You're not supposed to be involved in this.
Well,
don't ruin this for us.
I was like, I'm pretty sure there was like a pitchfork and tar and feather thing that happened for you, and how are you back? So I was like, I'm assuming you're not the same guy. Okay.
Ran out like ogres.
Yeah.
Right. What else did I have on this? I love the deformed Syraxis. We got a kind of a brief shot of him in episode 1, but this one we see his full glory. Like, he's got the extended neck, his body, his legs are like, he's a deformed dragon. And they just did it so well. And dragons in the scene, just in general, are 1,000 times better. And the dragon riding from Rhaenyra coming through, it genuinely felt like she was writing and not in front of like a green screen. Like, I know it's been 4 years really with, CGI improvements, but you could tell they have really stepped up the.
Yeah. And they also have a saddle too.
Yeah.
The saddles look aesthetically pleasing, as opposed to just like grabbing onto like a little scale or whatever.
Yeah, and we're about to get cut out here again. So Luke and Abby, plan your conversations.
Good grief.
We'll be back.
I'll talk about saddles. That's fine.
Talk about
Sorry.
saddles.
I will. I can talk about them all day long. This saddle
We'll see
is
these
like.
guys here again in a second. See you guys.
Yeah, bye. So.
No.
Freeze frame. But seriously, the saddle, like, to me, they look like the baby saddles that you put, like,
Baby saddle,
you put kids in, or like the safety saddle, which is fine and cool, but like, where's it's definitely not the English saddle, and I don't know. I just was like, wow, that is like quite the booster seat, or like if parents, these were like, I'm pretty sure outlawed, or what's that called when they like get banned.
phased out.
Yeah, it's like a bumbo seat.
Yeah.
It's a bumbo seat for a dragon. Like, boop, boop, can't fall out. But apparently you can. You can tip over in the bath and drown. So I don't really know. We're going to have to go to whoever regulates safety and make sure these saddles are, it's not OSHA, but you know, mom approved. Like, checks. Kicks.
Come on, Abby.
God, I'm trying hard here. I'm just talking. These are my train of thoughts. We got kicks. We got cereal.
Big.
Thank God. Here he is. Whew, your turn.
Now this thing won't go away. Good.
Yeah, but Abby, to your point, I was listening. I'd like to have the
Yeah.
stream up. So, to your point, would you not want a fucking bumble seat on a goddamn dragon?
No,
You
I don't know. I don't know.
like,
I
I
don't.
want
Honestly, I don't know.
Locked in. You know, I want full lock in because I want to be able to do barrel rolls and all that shit.
What are you, Star Fox?
Fuck yeah, do barrel roll.
I really also have a problem. Like, we never see how they get up there.
They have notches.
No. No, I guarantee you
And
somebody.
they did not show it specifically. It
Because
looked
of
like.
that, because like, you know, like when like you have these like Western shows and you like see young fit people and they just like
Just run
boop,
and hop up.
and hop,
Jump on.
you know,
or
like and swing that leg.
Legolas getting on the horse.
Yes.
Going up around the, which really,
Yeah,
of all the
get
CGI in those
racist.
movies, that one didn't hold up that well. Looking back when
But-
they're in the Rohirrim
Looking back.
fields.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna like
Terrible.
claim to be anything I'm not. I am not like some big horse rider.
You're
horse.
not a big horse.
I'm not a big horse. I'm a little horse. I'm a pony. Okay. So, anyways, I'm not gonna say a mini. I'm gonna be a pony. But anyways, like, my daughter takes lessons every single week. I've never seen anybody jump on a horse ever. Like, they get the little.
Sounds like you need new teachers.
No, well, she can do it, but I don't know. Like, it's just there's a height thing, there's a power thing, there's adults that take lessons, and it's not really a ladder it's a tub.
It's actually chaos.
It's a tub. It's just like a Home Depot tote. But nobody actually jumps on horses. How do they get up there all the time?
Right. I think, you know, maybe for like the lesson's sake, like you're gonna more respect the horse. I think it's more that. I think like the jumping on the horse was probably like a cowboy thing where, you know,
Yeah.
It was a tool.
kind of a raw action of, you know, doing it instead of just like respectful or whatever.
And Phil H does talk about jumping off the horse. That's all the only thing they show Rhaenyra doing. Or not the horse, oh my god, the dragon.
They
Just
don't show her
doing-
jumping off.
No,
They
I
just-
called it
cutscenes.
a horse.
Yeah.
We should just call them cows. Everything is a cow.
Every-
They didn't show her getting on
This
or
fire
off.
cow.
Right. Yeah. They
She
skipped
landed
it.
and then was
It's a
walking.
fire cow, Glenn. It's like
Everything is a cow if
scale
you just
cow.
call it a cow.
a scale cow. Okay.
Dragon scale cow.
Yeah. All right.
So
Moving
we
on.
have Otto talking to Homeboy, right? And he's all of the men with Otto start pulling their swords because we see Meraxes.
I was gonna say the sheaths are
Syrax,
und.
sorry. Sorry, Glenn, what'd you say?
I said the sheaths are und.
They are und. That's
I
true.
didn't know where we were going with that. I like
The
it.
sheaths are und. And
Sheaths are und.
and he really, really quickly is just like, guys, bad idea. Like let's
Well,
not
after
do
Syraxis
this.
shows up,
After,
he didn't say a word until Syraxis showed
right,
up.
and that's
He
what I'm
was
saying. Like immediately, he's like, "Guys, bad idea. Like, let's go ahead and let's kick this back a few notches real quick." And he tried to take control of the scene again, right? He tries to, but he's thwarted. His opportunity is swamped, if you will. by Rhaenyra showing up, or as I think Benji called her, Rah earlier.
I love rah.
Oh.
Have you seen mine in there yet? No, it's earlier. You missed it. Ra.
Rough.
No, it's
Yep.
Ray.
Oh,
It's Ray.
and
Knees.
Knees.
Knees. Phonetically. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so she shows up, lands, big show of force, right? Like, are we gonna have a dragon fight? Are we gonna have all of these guys just get roasted? And they are all kind of caught between two furnaces in this scene, right? And Gold Cloaks are standing behind Daemon. We've got the men with Otto as well, but Rhaenyra shows up and kind of shows that she's the only one that can take Daemon into hand right now, in my opinion. She's the
In
only
one way or
one.
another.
No, not a sexual way. Take it and shove it up your.
I think it's a respect way.
I think it's a.
It's the most.
Remember the first scene that we have with them, and she stands up to him there too. Like,
Yeah.
Westerling, don't worry about him. He's just being kind of a petty little child right now. He's sitting on the Iron Throne. Let me go talk him down, and she does, right?
Yep.
And so she does the exact same thing here. Of like, I'm the one causing the problem for you. If you want to just fucking kill me, do it. Problem's over. Are you gonna do it? Am I gonna call your bluff? You're not gonna fucking do it.
I need a pen because I have so many thoughts that are just gonna not be right.
You know, like
You're the best.
that would just made it a touch better. But yeah, no, that was perfectly done.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't gonna do shit.
So she steps up a little bit, and then you see Daemon fumble the ball. He fumbles the egg.
A butt fumble?
And, no, Mark Sanchez wasn't there. But you see a fumble recovery by Rhaenyra. I mean, that's pretty much...
She got the lateral. Yeah, it was a decent little lateral pass. But one thing before that scene, because they're talking about, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna be married? She's with child," and he's like, "She will be," and it's all in Valyrian. And
you see MySpace. She kind of walks away at this point.
She looks up. She's like, and then it's kind of that reveal of, "Oh fuck, she knows what we're saying." You know, it was kind of very much a Danny at the.
I didn't get it.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
it doesn't really make sense until we see the next scene.
The next scene.
That's the only we have context as to what her feelings are in that.
But she took all, like, as soon as he says, you know.
But you don't really know why, specifically why she's upset.
Okay, so.
No. You don't know why she's upset, but you understand that she understood what he's saying. And that's what I'm saying. I'm stealing this from AK.
I don't even know.
I'm stealing this from AK's stream here. But
I don't even know if I felt like that. But like, I'm not arguing with you. I just thought whatever was going on between Daemon and Rhaenyra she was like, wow, chemistry, wow, sexual tension, wow, respect, wow, whatever, I'm out. And then later on I was like, oh, never mind, just kidding. I read that wrong, but I didn't read it wrong. I just put it somewhere differently than it is.
No, and that's totally fair. And like I said, the first time I watched the scene, I was like, okay, yeah, I guess she's just upset that something's going on or whatever. But then watching it the second time, I was like, okay, yeah, it's more she's understanding what they're saying. And she just realized, oh, he told them I'm fucking pregnant and we're getting married. And then later scene, we find out why that bothers her. But the big key is she understood what they were saying. So it's kind of that same scene with Danny and the slavers with.
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that. It's a good point. I don't know if it matters much personally.
It might not. It might, you know.
But it does, because it does say she knows the language, which is.
Oh yeah, but anyone can learn Valyrian.
Really?
It's on Duolingo.
Because they had Duolingo.
In this realm, in this region, everybody. I didn't.
About their iPhones.
I didn't know anybody except like the Targaryens spoke it, and then I came into here and I was like, "There's who? Oh, apparently they're from there. Oh, okay.
The Valyrians.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah.
No, I can't leave this up.
Yeah. So anyway, anything else with the bridge scene? I do like the look Rhaenyra gave Otto. It's like, that's how it's done, bitch.
It was really a one-upsmanship, right? It was fucking. I took care of this shit. Like, stop putting me out of the king's council room. Like, I can do things.
There's like
Exactly.
It's a debate on who said this. So who said this?
Okay.
Well-behaved women seldom make history.
Is that Eleanor Roosevelt?
This is not like really a test because honestly, I thought it was Marilyn Monroe.
That could be too. It could honestly be either one, but
apparently there's credit given to like 5, 7, 9, 12 people.
Laura, there's a book called that.
No, this is Laurel Thatcher.
Yeah, that's who shows up who wrote the book.
This is like she is a Harvard professor, and she comes across like how women, well-behaved women, rarely makes history. But there's so many memes, there's so many things. So all this credit is given to anybody. I'm pretty sure Rhaenyra wrote this quote, but and the evidence she gives, because this is like one of her thesis statements, is that recorded history of women tends to be based upon their decisions that is written wrong. Upon their decisions that were considered not normal. And I looked at this quote specifically because that's what it reminded me of. Like, look at her just like taking the bull by his horns and being like, you know what? I'm done listening. I can be an effective change. I am capable. And I'm going to go do these things. And that was awesome. I loved it. And then I looked a little bit up about the author of this statement, because I thought it was Marilyn Monroe. And apparently there's been given multiple women throughout history who have made change, given credit for this line. My last thought on this, though, is last episode I really thought Daemon looked like a jerk, but a jerk on purpose. I really take exception to the horse blow that he gave, because I just feel like that's dirty and not great. But I think he's made to look like a jerk. He's sitting on the throne. And in this episode specifically, he is the only person that seems to see Rhaenyra as like an equal, or at least hear her. And he's gonna be a Jaime fucking Lannister.
I think it's Jaime Lannister.
I believe it's Jaime
Lannister.
Lannister. Yes.
And yes, I did used to study some of the High Valyrian that's on there. It's been a while. But it is available on Duolingo. Check it out.
Nerd's the word.
All right, so let's move on to the scene in Dragonstone. We get the council room. I don't think it's council room because we didn't get the map, but just a room in Dragonstone, and we get the conversation from Mycia. I don't know how to say the name, and Daemon, and she basically calls it flat out. If you get captured, you get whatever tried and all this. What do you do? The common whore you took for a wife, and just calls it right out. And oh my god, my one note for this, they actually got a good whore for this show.
She's not just a funny whore.
She's not just a funny
Shea
whore.
Stadium was really ripped on for no good reason. She was a funny whore.
No, she was not a funny whore.
She was great.
Was a bad acting.
I really think it was the accent.
Like a nice woman in real life.
No, I think it was the accent that was chosen because it gave her whatever. We're not fighting about Shea Stadium right now, okay?
But this accent is very thick, and it's at times hard to understand her. But I think her emotion comes through. Like, this is the second scene we have with her, but her emotion genuinely comes through. And
I honestly think it's with what tone. Give me the right, like, you have like high pitch, low pitch, like her resonance or whatever is lower. Her register is lower than Shea's.
Maybe,
That's it. Like, oh, sorry, Mike. I honestly think that's it. But I do understand why she was so annoying and this one is perceived differently. Because
here's your second Fran Drescher.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I think the other problem
in the first real conversation we
Let's-
have with her.
Let's get past the Shea Stadium thing.
Yes.
The,
I
the
am.
thing
No,
that was
I'm
a real
saying-
problem was what happened to Tyrion, of how he just changed into a total piece of shit around her. That
Yeah.
was our problem with Shea Stadium.
That is most guys around. I mean, girl. That's fine. But yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, let's continue.
Anyway.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. Not really, but kind of. There's Luke on
All right.
I'm
Moving on.
sorry.
But
I'm done
besides
talking
that,
about
it was a
shit.
well-acted scene, and it gave depth to her character as a secondary character, and I liked that. And it also showed that Damon did kind of care, but he's like, "I will protect you." He didn't do anything to say more than that, so he's like, "Do you really believe him on that?" But it's one of those of, again, we see the good side and the bad side.
I believe that it's just not his girl. Like
I'm curious to see where it goes.
he cares for her, and he's not going to do wrong necessarily by her, unless I don't know. There's like some big
Kerfuffle.
kerfuffle. Like she has a ability to gain power somewhere. He'll do right by her. Like
But I think she's expandable.
as Riley Hogan would say. It was
There
funny.
you go, Glenn. All right. Anything else on that scene?
No.
Okay. We next one is the king's duty. The master of laws gives his opinion. The princess returns to her angered father, and the king declares a new bride to be. So first scene, I forget the master of law's name. He just
Strong.
goes-
He's
Strong,
how strong? I can't remember his
Thank
first
you.
name.
His
Lionel?
name is
Lionel.
Lionel All Night Long Strong.
That's exactly why I remember it. Lionel.
And that's reminiscent of back in, I guess it would be season 1 of Game of Thrones, where Big Bobby B he's like reading because I think the question was
The genealogy.
Joffrey has blonde hair, and he's looking at going back through all the Baratheon lads, and and there's like Jim Bob Baratheon, black of hair, and then he comes across Lionel Baratheon, black of hair. But like the joke we always made was Lionel Richie Baratheon, all night long of hair.
Great.
All night.
So, yeah, all night long
scene,
strong.
God damn it.
Nothing too much on that, from my opinion.
I mean, I think it kind of goes back to what we saw in the scene earlier with Otto and the Grand Maester with the Hand of the Maggots, right? It
Yeah.
comes down to he's looking for another opinion. He's looking for another person that is on his small council, and he says, "What do you think? Like,
This is another
one-on-one
sidebar.
here. What do we think here? Like, is this?" He says, it's a good match. Like, it politically makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And this is where Viserys goes, "She's so fucking young.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?"
Yes.
he's like, we do a lot of weird things as kings. I'm kind of struggling with this one, bud. Can you meet me in the middle here and just tell me,
Yeah.
Where's
is
all
there
the old
something
ladies
else I
at?
can do? Like, is there anything else we can do right now? Or how is this the only option? A 12-year-old. Like,
Yeah.
how is that the only option? Like, he's not getting this animated
But
about
I
it, but
feel
he's
like you
looking for
felt that like build up.
he's looking for
the whole
someone to
time.
just be like,
We see that it's weird.
Yeah.
we see that it's weird. Well, I think he's looking for somebody to be like, there might be other options, or you don't need to rush into this. Like, why don't you go and grieve for your
That
fucking wife for a minute?
Is what I kept
He's looking for
wondering.
that.
Is like,
So
why is the social pressure so hard? Like, everybody's saying we have to, you know,
You gotta
strong
propagate.
seat. You gotta
Start
blah, blah, blah,
banging
blah.
some young chicks.
Like, He
So he needs
is.
to go on.
Sorry, Benj.
no,
I'm not.
I'm going to change topic a bit. So
You're
if
okay.
you want to finish your thought, go ahead.
I was
No,
going
you're
to
good.
say he needs to go on farmersonly.com and find some older, if that's the big.
I believe
Outrider.
it's our time now. It's ourtime.com.
So,
I think it's carbondating.com. It's for nerds only. It's carbondating.com.
That was worth it. That was worth it.
Hey, Glenn, that joke finally found its mark.
Finally found its home. There we go. It's
so
out
not
now.
to get on a tangent, I don't want to make this whole thing, but did no one ever consider saying, because here's the thing, Corlys has a son who's actually older than Lena. We saw him at the fucking turning. Why not say, I don't know if your daughter's right, but your son might be right for my daughter, and our houses are then combined. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, why did nobody take that second to fucking, say,
Basically,
what
marry the
about this
heir.
option?
That solves
marry
both
the heir.
sides.
You can marry my son.
I'm not just giving you a queen in your line. I'm giving you a king as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be both.
You know, your
That'd be
son
great.
is the son of the queen who never was. My daughter is my heir, so they're both legally by bloodline allowed to conform. It's like, I just don't. I understand story. I understand narrative. But it's like.
But where's the drama?
Where's the drama? And it just that bothers me. Like I've been thinking about, was watching that the whole episode. Once Lena was brought up, I'm like, didn't we see the son? He's got a boy, around Rhaenyra's age. Okay. Anyway, didn't want to get on a tangent on it, but it just
It's a pretty fair point. That
It
could
was a
have been.
tangent, yeah.
Hey, spiral, Benji, spiral. I'm here for it. Continue. I like it.
I'm trying not to go 3.5 hours.
Yeah, you're right. We're doing okay.
Generally, though, Benj, I think that's a pretty fair point, and he's looking for somebody to give some other option, and none of them come with that. Like they're all just set on Lena. His child is the only choice. Like what? Like, and even we saw Otto kind of get cut off earlier and had to play diplomacy in front of the Grand Maester because the Grand Maester made some good points about Lena Valerian, and so he's just like, I'm not going to create contention in this moment. It kind of makes sense. Let's keep your hand in that bowl full of maggots. Let's do that right now. Okay. But in general, yeah, he's looking for all night long of Strong to give him something that's not just, hey, bang a 12-year-old. Like, nobody is giving him anything different than that. And he's just not feeling it, Like, not that he disrespects Lady Lena or anything. It just, he's got some kind of morals going on, which a lot of kings you don't see that with.
Yeah, cheers to him for it,
Right. So it's interesting to show even further that, yeah, Viserys, kind of a good dude. Like, in general, seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
What a great guy.
So
a guy you like to have a beer with, Glenn?
Who would you like to have a beer with on the show?
Rhaenyra would put you under the table. Fuck. She very much reminds me of it's the Mac Running show on Netflix. It's somebody in the chat will know it. It's a princess thing and everything. Anyway,
it's a princess thing.
It's a princess thing. So the king and confronts Rhaenyra when she returns from Dragonstone. He's like, "We came back from." And she's like, "Yeah, I did, and I got this shit done. Okay, it's been done. Fuck off." And he makes a comment of, "I forget how much the two of you are alike." And then he goes in to talk about her mother. I miss your mom, and it's a very sweet scene and everything. Is he talking about how much her and Daemon are alike, or how much her and her mother are alike? It was a hard. I still don't know.
I definitely took it as she. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I certainly took when he said, "Oh, thanks, Glenn. You're so sweet. What a sweet guy." Oh dear. Oh no, we're going to the Uber. Oh, it just happened. No, I definitely took when Viserys is talking to Rhaenyra. I'm getting Abby back up to speed as well. That when he said, "I forgot how much you two are alike," I definitely thought he was just talking about her and her mother, Emma. I certainly took it as there are many things that she was able to do, that she has a womanly, feminine power about her that cuts through other masculinity while still being able to roll with the boys, if you will, if you want to put it that way.
Fair.
But I think that's that's just how I took it. I didn't think about her being similar to Daemon necessarily. I think that could be a valid question.
Well,
I
the
just
thing was
took it
just
as
that's
Emma.
who they were talking about. Literally, they were talking about her coming back from Dragonstone. She did it without bloodshed and all that.
And
then
I
he
took
makes
it
the
more
comment-
as the last 4 conversations we've heard Viserys
was about-
have. It's all been leading to, we need to talk about your mom dying. Like, it just felt to me, that's where my head was when I'm hearing them talk. I'm like, they gotta fucking get to it, right?
Yeah.
Like he's been beating around the bush. She's kind of been trying to show that she could do her thing, but then like almost gaining respect so they can have an open, candid conversation. On the last couple times we've had this opportunity, and to me it just seemed like it's got to happen now. So I was mentally predisposed to think that, but I think it's a valid point on the Daemon thing too. Like you're so similar to him potentially in some ways that he respects you in a way that he doesn't respect other people.
Yes, and it was just oddly written to where
Switzerland again. Sorry, being Switzerland.
No, it was just, like I said, it was just oddly written. I still don't know. I don't have a side. I just have no clue, and it was just something that stuck out to me. All right. What else we got in this?
Torso 12?
Okay, so anything else on the Rhaena Viserys?
Rhaenyra versus
Rhaenyra, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think they actually opened up about her mom a little bit. You know, I think it's a nice moment that they've been kind of trying to get to. It's what they needed, you know, and we'll get to what happens in the next scene, which kind of undercuts some of it a little bit on what happens with Alicent, but at the same time, I think he really, really wants to solve this with his daughter. I really think he's trying to find a level field for them to be talking about. Hey, we're both grieving, because he mentions, I forget exactly what he says, something about how he misses her mother. The way
nobody will be her.
These halls will never be. These halls will never have the joy
as warm as
Yes.
the halls of the Red Keep will never be as warm as they were when she was around. And she goes, "That makes me so happy to hear you say that. Like, it's not just me grieving. Like, you've been just doing your job, and I'm glad that you're showing me that you're hurting too. Because we can hurt together. Like,
and I think
I would rather not be alone on my own dealing with this, and I'd rather you not be alone dealing with this, surrounded by these fucking serpents and
you not know how to deal with it or whatever.
Just in general, like knowing that he's got some outlet that's not just be taken advantage of by all the men in the small council. That right now she's not a big fan of almost any of them because they just belittled her so much. So it's not, she sees as being vulnerable in a different light than like Corlys Velaryon
And how long has she been the cupbearer? Like, and seen him mediate his council.
Yeah, no, she has experience on how they've been treating him and all that. So yeah.
On top of that, though, he also tells her, "You're my heir. I'm just protecting our line," and that was and I genuinely think he believed that when he said that.
Yeah, I do too.
Regardless of who I marry, you know, you're my heir. I've named you heir. You're going to remain my heir. And you know, now this is just in case. You know, that's why you can't go fucking flying off like that. You know, you're all I have until I can propagate the line a bit further to have your ass protected, you know, and everything like that.
I feel like that's sorry, Benji, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's why she also was accepting of once he said we need to talk about what needs to be done. She's like, you need to take a wife.
Yeah,
because she believed that he would go with the plan, and she'd have at least 2 years, 2 to 3 years before there could be, you know, so she could propagate herself as a rightful heir.
Yes, get her claws in, and
exactly.
I agree completely. Like, it's the first time I think that she has. I really think there's an attachment style here where she wants his. She wants him to believe in her. She wants him to be proud of her. She also, because he hasn't been, that she is afraid, like, this isn't real and this isn't true. And all of a sudden, that statement right there was like, oh my God, like, no, this is real. And it's the first time she's ever felt backed or validated as his child. And we talk a lot about, not we, but like, you hear that, like, sons just want to hear their dad say, I'm proud of you. Like, it's that same type of need
validation.
that, like that just need that she is given right there. And she's like, if that's how you, oh my God, all I want is for you to do your job then. Because she's understanding and she's accommodating. Like, wow.
Along with that, too, I mean, I think the whole thing that she's been struggling with this whole episode is she believes in her line. She believes in her place right now because all of the lords came. All of them bent the knee and said, yep, we will support you at that time.
Mm-hmm.
What hasn't been happening, and this was when she first gets belittled and kicked out of the small council, she's not being trained. Like, she is begging. Yeah. She is begging for experience.
Yeah.
And then she gets shit on. And so she gets this other job. Maybe a menial thing. I think it's kind of an important thing. But at the time, she thought she had an opportunity to do something more impactful.
All right.
She was denied that opportunity to go and talk to, as a dragon rider, talk to the leaders of the Stepstones to figure out, well, of the Free Cities, the Triarchy, to figure out, hey, what can we do to work together on this? She was denied that opportunity. So she took this opportunity with Daemon into her hands and said, no, I'm not going to just sit by. I'm going to show that I have abilities and I have value, and you should put your time into showing me what you want me to be.
Right.
So I can be there in these meetings.
Teach me.
Same thing with, I mean, every young king, right? I mean, Joffrey Baratheon wanted to be there at a lot of these small council meetings. He's a piece of shit, but he was there. Tommen, they just didn't even have him there. They just said, no, this is my turn. This is Cersei's turn to lead. And they just cut him out. So she's trying to be proactive in showing, I want to learn what you want me to learn. And sitting here doing nothing is not going to help. If I have to take that into my own hands to get that opportunity, then I'm going to do that. Because I'm also okay with changing the rules. I'm okay with doing it. I'm a fucking dragon rider. We create the rules.
Exactly. So, all right, Glenn, you got anything on this sweet little conversation?
No, I'm just letting you guys dawdle, and then I'm ready for the final scene. I need to go to bed.
Final scene.
Fair enough. I'm with you. All right, well, we got one last little part of this scene. We do have him naming his bride, who ends up being Allie, to no viewers' surprise.
To her surprise, in my opinion, she looked surprised. To me,
I don't think Allie did.
Alicent, 1,000% surprised, in my opinion. No chance that she had any idea that was coming.
I think I think it was not discussed, but I think she had a feeling.
Chance.
She gave it probably like a 30% shot.
I guarantee all these people in the chat are gonna be like, Luke,
no,
you're so wrong.
No,
there's no chance she saw that.
No,
coming.
She did. I think that I took that reaction she had as,
I knew.
Wow, it's happening. Yeah. There's
and hey,
fallout.
Sorry, sis. You know, like,
I mean, she definitely looks over at her friend. She definitely looks over at Rhaenyra, and she knows it's fucked. But I don't think she saw. I think she saw the announcement being for Lena.
But then why have 100%. Her there? But then why have her in the council room?
Just because she's
plot armor.
Plot armor. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think it was a planned thing of, you know.
I knew an imagination room would completely. They never agree with me.
Because you're wrong, but that's okay.
I don't know if that's, but
I liked the reactions. I liked the reactions of Corlys and Rhaenyra. Rara. Originally I was like, do you think Rara was upset because she feels this and this and this? But I'm like, I think I kind of answered myself already. I think she had planned on having a couple years, and now she realized, well, now I'm really fucked, and you fucking played me. You played me to go to my father. You did this and that to mend these, to make him more comfortable. Now you're getting this, and you're young enough, but you're old. You're young enough, but you're old enough to, produce heirs really quick. So now I'm fucked. And so no, I think I answered my own question in the last part.
Be good, because we weren't listening.
What'd you say?
I wasn't listening the whole time.
I was talking to people in the chat.
I think you're right.
In fairness, I did the same thing to you guys a little earlier.
That's okay.
So
like I believe that Oh, I don't know. It was.
You believe in a thing called lunch? There
Sorry, yeah, you got it.
You know all the words.
I did. Now I do not know what Benji said because you just got me out of that. You're a jerk. Train of thought.
I'll leave. I'm sorry, guys.
Story of my life.
Jumping
if the call
topics.
drops again, just
Okay,
figure it
so
out.
anyways, we have the complete betrayal
Yes.
of friends.
Yep.
And I did see it like lining up last episode. I don't know why. I feel like it was in. There was context clues. It was happening, and to watch it happen, I do not blame Rhaenyra for feeling the way she does, but I also do not blame Alicent for taking the opportunities given to her. Like,
Yeah.
but it's definitely gonna be some friction up in here.
Glenn, thoughts on the announcement? All this shit.
What'd you say?
You got thoughts on
It's Facebook. It's complicated.
Alicent
No, I mean,
being chosen and
like I said
fallout
before,
from Rhaenyra?
He
I'm
just has
letting you
a
guys
final thought.
dawdle. I'm ready for the final scene, so then I can go to bed.
All right,
Oh,
I have one really quick thought on it, and this because of how I was just bragging for Viserys finally having a nice moment with his daughter. This really undermines all of that. That was the major thing I took away from it.
Yep.
Is he should have fucking seen this coming. Whatever follow-up this is, he cannot be surprised. Rhaenyra, where are you going?
what
Like,
happened here? Oh
get
my
that.
gosh.
I don't know. That just doesn't really feel like.
Said earlier in the episode, you don't talk to her about our talks, do you? Like this
Because
is
he
our
knew it was
secret.
wrong. Not wrong,
Yeah,
but he knew it was going to be a point of contention.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I want to say I think some of the writing is convoluted almost too much on purpose to fabricate drama that
Yes.
I don't know. It seems a little heavy-handed sometimes on things like this. I think this is the one Rhaenyra and Viserys relationship is the one that so far hasn't seemed the most cleanly written of things that make sense all the time on who we're seeing these characters are and then seeing the choices that they're making between each other. I don't know. It just he looks so short-sighted with some of this stuff at this, but then other times it seems like he really gets it. I don't know. It's just incongruous a little bit at times. So I just want to point out that all of the positive things that I had in the last scene, in the previous scene, kind of just fall apart because of the way he does this. And not just in that moment be like, hey, the previous scene, hey, I don't really think Lena, like, bring her into your confidence. Bring Rhaenyra into your confidence, and not saying even take her opinion into it, but let her know ahead of time, because he's going to do whatever he wants anyway. But she should have been made aware at least before the whole fucking room, including Corlys Velaryon, who absolutely expects it to be his daughter.
Right.
Bring her in at least for awareness, so it's not this surprise. I'm gonna start banging your best
She's going to
friend.
be mad either way. But
Right,
put
let
her
her
into
be-
your confidence.
Let her be upset ahead of time and try to work through it for a minute instead of just let her run away.
Yeah, agreed. So, all
Final,
right,
final scene?
final scene.
Yes.
Every episode we have one of these, and this is this one.
We didn't last episode because I fucked up and I didn't do a final scene.
We did.
Final scene. It was entitled Final Scene. All right, Corlys hosts a traitor and shows him a path to victory.
Hey Glenn, how are those
Go with my
chips?
What'd you say?
They sound good.
So how are your chips?
They're being jerks. They're
They're being
loud,
jerks.
is what they're saying. Very Viserys of them. Be like, wow.
So my only note on this one, it's a nice way to end the episode. My wife asked, so are those the new White Walkers? So for a non-anybody, it's like, okay, they can kind of relate to that. It's the new big bad or bad for the moment kind of thing. So it was a good way to do it. And another shout out to Tony Teflon. He did an interview with Steve to Science, the actor who plays Corlys, and he pointed out that he's like, the cool thing about Driftmark is if you look around, there's little trinkets and everything from all of my 13 voyages. They're never mentioned. They just show them but that's it. But that's what they're from, and they're like cool little stories behind each one. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to the cool little decorations and shit through Driftmark there that they made sure to show, because it does show his badassery without actually telling you what he's done.
Also, yeah, shout out to our good buddy Tony Teflon. Check his shit out.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Great interview with this guy. I mean, it was phenomenal. I watched it a couple weeks ago, and very cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll check that out.
Yeah. So, but anybody else's thoughts on the scene, Glenn?
You guys done with the fucking King's Duty shit? Anyway, so this one we write out on the same crabs we wrote in on. Beginning of the episode, there was crabs. There's crabs at the end. What do you know? And really, like, before this, I couldn't really picture what Crab Feeder would look like. But he's just kind of like this guy with this mask on or whatever. He kind of looks like have you guys seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut? He kind of looks like one of those party goers.
Nope. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. I got like
a poor man's Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah,
party goer.
it's Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. No, I very much got. It's not Last of the Mohicans. It's very like native style, Aboriginal kind of look that I read off of it, but I can definitely see the Eyes Wide Shut shit too, on it. So it's it makes it interesting. Like, makes you almost think: is he from Skagos? Is he fucking cannibal? Or there's that just has that weird look about him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're definitely showing that it's a bit Skagos, it's a bit Fens, right? Like, you gotta show visual differences between the villains a bit.
Mamas and papas.
Mamas and papas, it's time for lunch. It's num num time. And the other part of this final scene, is we see Corlys and Damon talking about, we're just gonna go ahead and do this. Like,
it's going down.
Are you?
I'm yelling timber.
And how many times did Damon not?
That's
quote
all I got.
us,
That's my
but-
entire note.
And I love that song.
Sorry.
I proposed
That's
that
it.
for the Campfire Nights.
It-
Anyway,
probably not gonna happen.
I know, but
It's a great song.
anyway,
That's it.
Damon calls out, like, Corlys is like, your brother's weak, and he does, and he's like, he's my brother. I can talk about him that way. You can't.
That
You
is
know,
the best.
It's like, okay, yep. It's like, yep.
I,
He's a dick. He's an asshole.
feel I don't want to it's not
He's a curmudgeon.
semantics, but I think he says, I talk about him how I feel or you do not. And I was like,
Well, it's like, he's your king. He said, he's your king. He's my brother.
but it was
I can
just
say this.
the
You
words
can't.
he used were so
Yeah.
visceral. I was like, ooh, ouch, burn. I felt it. It was great. I just liked the lyrical or script writing choice that was used.
The point was made.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. I'm interested
to
to
the
see
heart.
where they take Damon moving forward. Right? We got. We're not really talking about the scenes from the next episode, but
No.
I really think things are gonna get hectic. They're gonna get
They're gonna
wild.
Progress a little bit.
It's gonna be a little bit further in the future, I think.
It's gonna be like this episode was 6 months before the last one. This
After.
next one's gonna be whatever, like 6
No,
months
sorry. Yeah, I got you.
time. This next one's gonna be a block of time as well.
It's gonna be about 9 months, I think, because I think that in the coming on.
But does my
and
girl
prime-
come in the next episode?
If she's
I
lucky,
hope so.
she's lucky.
God damn it, Abby. That's not what I meant. Does she
Does your girl
arrive?
come?
Does my never mind.
All right.
Next
You guys,
episode. Goodbye.
all good here?
I don't know.
Yeah, all good. But on the little jump ahead, the next time on, it is like a 9 month to a year jump. Let's
Okay.
say. So
All
Oh
right.
no, a 9-month jump? Whew.
So
Man,
there's
that's
gonna
a
be a
Baby's
baby
being
coming.
jump.
born.
Baby jump.
Whew.
All right. Episode title accuracy. The Rogue Prince.
actually, kind of weak.
I didn't see any ragu being poured on
No
any.
ragu.
Well, did you
Noodles
see
or
the
anything
title
like
screen?
that.
Did you see the title screen? It's all ragu. I mean, in general, I think it's showing that he did. We didn't see a lot of it, right? We didn't see a lot of Daemon, but I think you could also look at it as the rogue princess a little bit, with Rhaenyra taking some of the shit in her own hands, without being asked to do it or without being tasked with doing these things. I think it's a bit supposed to be both Daemon and Rhaenyra, and it kind of skips over what I think the overall theme is, and it's kind of this question of succession, and not the succession, but him marrying again, Viserys marrying again. It's fine as an episode title. I think it had to happen to show Daemon is kind of playing his own game as well. He's not necessarily following what Viserys wants. He's definitely not following what Otto fucking von Hightower wants. But
he's kind of being a DeVille.
He's kind of being a Daemon. He's a DeVille. He's a dunk. So drink for that inside joke, huh? How about description accuracy? Rhaenyra oversteps at the small council.
Yeah, I mean that's
how it's portrayed.
Received, or like yeah, absolutely.
Viserys is urged to secure the succession through marriage. That's the number one thing that happens.
Yeah.
Daemon announces his intentions. Yeah, we get both the marriage thing, we get the stealing the egg thing, and we get at the end of the episode, hey, I'm gonna go and fucking do this because Corlys Velaryon and I are gonna do cool things with my cool friends.
I like cool friends.
Yeah. That's nice, Goose.
So, all right.
All right.
Anyone have a least favorite thing?
I do.
No, it's just least or favorite thing.
I have a least though.
Why is
least
it split?
first?
Why is it
because
split?
you only get one. You get to pick one.
Oh,
your least or your favorite.
Oh,
motherfucker.
That's just how it.
Put this work put together.
Believe you, and we're just working with it. My least favorite thing is there is not enough Graham McTavish in this episode.
Yeah,
that's Westerly.
Right. And again,
he's not on a horse.
Westerly.
He's not.
He's not on a horse.
Bashing heads. He's not doogling thing. I don't know. There's just not enough of them.
Okay,
that's all.
Glendon.
Here.
I had a favorite thing. I like the crab feeder thing or whatever. Especially like at the end when he's on the doorstep. It just like I think action is on the way. Like I can only handle so much of this political mumbo jumbo or whatever. Like it's
been slow.
It's been kind of slow, and maybe they're just setting things up. But I think like next episode, it looks like it's going to kind of be more action packed.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Good so far, Pee Wee. Action packed.
AGGRESSIVE.
Sly.
All right. Yep. So Viserys, Patty fucking owned this episode as the inconsequential king, as I mean, like he might not have been making the best choices or doing it, but the acting in it, and he just really ruled every scene he was in. It made it known that he was the important part, apart from maybe the very first scene in the council with Rhaenyra, but every other scene for the show, except for the bridge, he was part of. He was there, and it was very much a centric episode of him, and it felt right. Like he owned every scene he was in. He controlled it, and I just want to give a shout out to him. So yeah, that'd be my favorite thing. Luke?
I don't like doing this at all.
Oh God.
Oh, Benji, wait for it.
Here we go.
But I'm gonna agree with Benji.
Oh, I also, yes.
I really think Viserys was the primary character in this episode, and we talked about it a lot. I'm gonna tell you the real answer after this as well. This is the honorable mention, if you will, is Viserys. King Viserys is the honorable mention, because I really liked how we see him morally struggle with the 12-year-old marriage thing. We see how he struggles with figuring out how to talk to his daughter about the loss of his wife and her mother.
Yeah.
I mean, he's emotionally relevant in a lot of these things. He might not be making the best choices along the way.
He's hesitant.
But he is hesitating in the things that he should be. He is morally struggling,
Yeah.
and it's impactful, I think, and we don't typically see that with the kings that we've seen in this show or in this overall franchise, right? Usually you have big drunken guy who likes going partying. You also have, and then we just have a collision of all of these people who think they should be king, and that was more of a struggle. But like none of them were just always like we said, there's a lot of avoidance. But he believes that he is sitting back trying to decide things that are valuable.
He almost has like that do no harm.
So I think Patty Considine did a great job, and King Viserys is the honorable mention for this episode. The real favorite thing, the most important thing in this episode was that fucking jar of maggots. They did a great job. I just really want to.
That was real maggots.
I just want to give props to those maggots. I don't know how well they trained them, but to the maggots.
Cheers.
It was not CGI maggots. You said it was CGI crabs.
CGI on that one.
No, those were real. Those were real. And I just all props to them
as well.
All props to the prop team and them.
So all right, really quick, somebody check my scheduling here. So our next episode is going to be next Friday night when we're covering episode 3, correct?
Now hold on. Next Friday night is a perception thing. Because some people
not this upcoming Friday.
They would not, yes.
No, not
the
this
following.
upcoming. I'm saying for episode 3, which is premiering Sunday the 4th.
Then it would be Friday. After the 4th.
Friday. That's what I'm
yes.
clarifying. I want to make sure we put it out there properly of when our next episode, when we're streaming.
No, the only reason I stopped you there and questioned it was because somebody said if I move the meeting ahead.
Friday, September 9th. Good thing. We got
Friday,
10 minutes to figure this out. So
yep. So Friday, September 9th, we will be
is
covering
the next House of the Dragon episode.
For us.
In that time, though, I believe we will be streaming on Drawbridge Media
September 5th, Monday.
The call's going to end in 10 minutes.
I know. We're hustling.
We're wrapping it up.
You're
wrapping it up.
On September 5th, we are going to be covering the first 2 episodes of the new Tolkien show on Amazon Prime.
You shouldn't say we. You.
We being Drawbridge Media and the royal we that I am, Drawbridge Media.
You, not us.
Our channel, with a totally different group besides me, will be doing the Rings of Power first 2 episodes that come out this Thursday night. This upcoming Thursday night.
It's very exciting.
It is exciting.
I wasn't invited. I'm just kidding. I'm done.
I was told not to watch. I was told not to
don't care about your thoughts. I'm just joking. They are much lovelier than us. I guarantee you. They are more intelligent. They are better looking, and you will like it a lot more.
Just good. So we are excited about this new upcoming Tolkien show, where it's a little bit still unnamed in that we've got a good list, but we're just making sure that we're not stepping on other shows' toes and things like that. But that will be starting recording on Monday the 5th. So on Labor Day, right? So,
yeah.
Yes, so podcast listeners, stay tuned to Drawbridge Media and everywhere else. We will let you know
more
when
shit.
can download
more stuff
is on the way.
More stuff on the way.
So, just wanted to make sure I get that call out there. So
yeah,
everybody have a great Labor Day week. All the Americans have a great Labor Day weekend. We love you guys.
Yeah, all the non-Americans.
You can have a good Labor Day. You work hard too.
All your non-Labor Day, your non-Americans, just have a fucking fun weekend.
A Labrum Day.
Labrum Day.
Ooh. Labrum Day.
Oh, God damn it, Glenn. Oh, man. All right, Glenn, house name?
Glenn of House Dog.
House words?
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take.
House sigil?
It is a doggo with a Wayne Gretzky sweater.
And your personal Twitter?
At Popsicle Stand.
Final thought on this episode?
It's just your run-of-the-mill second episode of the first season of House of Dragon. Yeah, we've seen this.
He's always
time and time again.
So technically correct. Ben, house name?
Sly of House McLean.
House words?
It's dangerous to drink alone. Take this.
House sigil?
3 black triangles on a red balloon.
Personal Twitter?
At Sly McLean.
Hey, Luke.
Yeah.
You didn't ask Benji's final thought.
Benji, what's your final thought? I was telling you to ask him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Benji, what's your final thought?
Final thought. Final thought. Good episode, slow, but I like the political build. So a better second episode of this than second episode of Game of Thrones season 1, episode 2. So,
Okay.
Hey, Luke.
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Oh, I'm Luke on a House Blackmeat, I think.
And your house words?
Ours is the drink.
What's the Sidge?
It is an obsidian black chalice and a golden blue checky background.
Your personal Twitter.
At Luke Ferocious, or basically like all the show Twitters.
And a final thought.
You know, I think Glenn said it all. Abby, house name.
I am Annie of House, or Gertie of House Condescension. I don't even know anymore.
House words.
I changed them, and we're a better drinker than we're a knower.
House sigil.
It is a field of white with a raven sitting upon an up-pointed chevron.
Personal Twitter.
I don't have one because my kids lost the phone.
The final thought on the episode.
Glenn says it best.
Boom. Become a patron. You can learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. For all the ways you can help keep our beer bank full here on the Drinks and Those Things podcast, you can check out thepodcastthat.com/support us. Follow us on Twitter at KnowAndDrink, also on Instagram, everything like that. Send us a digital raven to knowandDrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments here on YouTube at Drawbridge Media. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Until next time.
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
as always, winter's coming, and so am I.
And as always, thank you all for being here. Stay imaginary.
Say imagery.
Stay imagine.